It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a dream. Yum, 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 yummity yum. Bring your sour cream.
Shell, meat, lettuce, cheese. Shell, meat, lettuce, cheese. Shell, meat, cheese.
It's raining tacos. Raining tacos. Raining tacos. It's raining tacos.
It's raining tacos. Raining tacos. Raining tacos.
Lettuce, cheese. Shell,
It's raining tacos. Tacos.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. Hope you're well. It seems normal. Everything looks fine, but it feels weird. I'll explain it in a second. I hope things are going well with you guys. Let's turn that down to a normal volume. There we go. Lovely. How are you? Today is we're doing news today, so we got lots and lots of news, and you know it's really been very good for me because all I had to do was go find the news that someone else put together, and then I just give that news, which has been very nice. However, I made a big change yesterday because remember I was saying that I could just delete the old PC and then put on the new PC. And that would be, you know, I could do that. I did last night. I don't know why. Like, it wasn't a great idea because I know for a fact that whenever I do this, it never goes the way I want it to go. And that means it's going to be a big pain in the butt. And it wasn't that bad. But like, I went to the store and I got some wires. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to put it together. The wires, blah, 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 blah. And then they didn't fit. And then I thought about it again. And then they fit a little bit better. And then I thought about it again. And then they fit. Hello, good. Oh, thanks for the streak, man. That's cool. Hey, Blocker. So it is working. We have one PC running the stream and the multi-stream. We're back on TikTok, by the way. We're also running vertical and horizontal, what actually worked out. That's nice. I didn't know that. I didn't think that was going to work. And what else? And all my monitors are working. It feels like things are progressing. I need to redo all my overlays because they are old and busted from, you know, like I'm not doing new cool stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a new meta out there for how awesome things can be on Twitch. And so I gotta get with the times. Gotta get with the times. This is all old. This is gross and ancient, and I may as well be streaming on a cave wall using hand chiseled overlays, which actually would look kind of cool. Today we're so I'm going to be doing that probably after stream. We also have to do some other stuff. We got to do some other stuff as well. We're gonna I don't even know if we're gonna get to like anything other than the news today. Hey Julie, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for being here. I need to turn down the music for me. How do I do that? That's super loud. This is too much. Give me the mixer. Volume mixer. How are you not there? You know, it makes me crazy sometimes. Good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, we're doing a big event tonight too. Why can't I? Oh, there it is. There we go. Now we can turn it up. Wait, why am I coming out? Hello. Good. Sorry about that. Took me a second. Happy Chicken National Day and Lipstick. Is it really? Is it National Chicken and Lipstick Day? No, those don't normally go together because if there's one thing I know about chickens, they don't have lips. So what are you gonna do? So today being the news, we're gonna be going through some stuff. I may as well fire it up to this side here. Boop. And we're doing the news. There we go. A little bit wider. There. Beautiful. You get free chicken at a fast food restaurant. I doubt that. Larry, I know Larry has lips and he's a cucumber, but chickens do not have lips, therefore they cannot use lipstick. That's just science, man. That's just science. So today is a big day because I'm kind of nervous. It feels it's only me, okay? It's only me. I'm looking at this setup and it looks identical. None of it is different. It's the same as it always has been. The monitor's the same, OBS is in the same spot, everything's the same. The only difference is that I know in my brain it's running off of one PC over there, which is completely just messing with my head because normally I have two mice. and I know which one goes to which. Now I have to mice all the way across the screen. Not a big deal. Indeed, Zucky, indeed. Same as it ever was. It. I don't know, man. I don't know why it's weirding me out. It really shouldn't. Okay, I tell you what. I'm gonna pray real fast, and then we're gonna get going. I had a first world problem. Yeah, my super fast computer is running way too many of my awesome monitors. That is it's so disturbing, is what it is. It's really got me weirded out. I hate that. Just so bad. Yeah, let me pray real quick, and then we'll get into what we're doing. Remember, you guys can always interrupt. Today, it's a Twitch stream primarily. I know that, Zucky and Julie are... Julie, did I get that right? I did. Zucky and Julie are on YouTube, but unfortunately, because of policy, I can't show your Twitch, your stuff on Twitch. So just the way it is. But nonetheless, we are going to continue as though we can... feel free. Always interrupt. It's all, no problem at all. I will pray and then we'll jump in. God, thank you for the day. Thank you for stream. Thank you for the joy of being able to be here. And for everybody who comes, pray that you would work through the stream to honor you and glorify yourself and bring the community together. Help us bless some creators. Amen. All right. Switching to a less annoying music system. That's better. Too much run. No, I have not ran. I don't run. I don't run even if I'm chased. If someone came out of the bushes and chased me with a chainsaw, I'd turn around and just accept my fate because I hate running that much. Hello, Ferric. Good to see you. So if you don't know, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this website into chat just because it's only fair to let you know what I'm using. So this is tos.gg, which is a guy named Zach Busey, who spends all of his time gathering up good news. So I'm like, you know what? I could either try to figure all this stuff out or just do this amazing version. Now, you'll notice at the top, this is a members only post. Membership's free. You just got to sign up for his newsletter and you're fine. So go do that. If you're interested at all in content creator stuff, not just Twitch, but Twitch, YouTube, Kick, TikTok, all that jazz. No, I'm sorry. I have no time for any festivals, except for Reach, X Point Reach. You should come to Reach. We're doing. I'm supposed to do a plug, by the way, for the upcoming Reach conference, which is going to be interesting. Okay, let's see if I can do it. Here's what they want me to read. You ready? I'm going to load up what they want me to read, and then I'll read it. Let's see how this. Yeah, use code or any of the other taco members. Any of their other codes will get you the same discount. Yeah, I'm laughing because this is straight off of ChatGPT and copy pasted to me, right? It's like, here, do this. And like, it was so fast. So I sent a message to him. I'm like, okay, what am I advertising? Like, what do you actually want me to like advertise? Am I in it? Am I guaranteed to be part of this thing? What's the deal here? And he's like, just say it. I'm like, all right, I'll just say it. So here we go. Ready? This isn't just D&D. It is an adventure like no other. Imagine 50 characters gathered for a real world camping quest. Those are words I don't know. 10 dungeon masters weaving one massive interconnected campaign, or join a 20 streamer D&D IRL event that blurs the line between game and reality. This isn't your average table session. It is once in a lifetime chance to play, stream, and live the story like never before. Spots are limited. Sign up today for your place to secure the legend. I don't know, man. I'm not going to be releasing that. I'm not giving it to them. So they said, clip it when you do it, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to clip that because that was awful. But essentially, to break it down, they're trying to do this great big thing over during ReachCon where there's two different quests, one or two different D&D things. Number one is they're going to be 10 DMs. I don't know how that's going to work with 50 players all doing one great big campaign. for 4 hours. I think it's 4 hours. Like it sounds impossible considering we, for just 4 of us, it took 4 hours to get through like 20 turns. It's going to be weird, man. And then there's another one that's 20 streamers doing a IRL event that I don't know, and I don't know how it's going to go. That's the hard part with doing this announcement. I don't know what's happening, and that's all they've told me. But I've signed up for it, and maybe I'll be able to play. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, there's the ad. I have followed through. Once they give me more information, I would love to give it to you, but I don't have it. I don't have enough of it right now to be able to actually do it justice. I don't understand what's happening either. Like, there's a form. There's a form. I guess if you want the form, hold on. I can copy and paste the form, I think. Am I allowed to? Probably. That's part of the ad they sent me. So here. If you're a streamer or content creator or I don't know, like, they didn't give me any details. So if you want to do that, feel free to do that. Come on in. I think it'll be fun. I like D&D. I've got a bunch of fancy mice and not mice, dice, fancy dice to bring, and I've got, like, I enjoy doing it. They have pre-made characters, so it shouldn't be that bad. What's needed to sign up? No idea. No idea. I asked for a bunch of details and they didn't give me any, and so I've given you what I know. I still think it's silly that they're like, advertise something, and I'm like, what is it? They're like, 50 people, 10 DMs in a room, 20, go. And all right, there you go. It'll be fun. Like, it's going to be a bunch of the favorite Christian content creators that are there, a bunch of people who are, you'll know that are on there, and they'll break them off into tables. And I'll be, at one of the, if they let me on there, I'll be at one of the tables, and it should be interesting. At least, I don't know how they're going to make it public and people are going to be able to watch, because that's going to be a gong show. It's going to be a gong show is what it is. So we'll see. But nonetheless, let's jump into the news. Feel free to interrupt. Like I said, I forgot to plug my Stream Deck in. Well, that's a bummer. It's broken. There, note to self, Stream Deck is still plugged into old computer. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about some of the news. This V Shoujo thing is really insane. I can't believe what they've done. Just nuts. Avoid signing up for things so more community peeps can participate in stuff. I don't know, man. The way I see it is that, I'm going to be on stage, right? I'm going to be doing a talk there, and we have the Taco Tranquility Room. So we're kind of like, I'm kind of part of the deal, and so it makes sense for me to be part of this event as well. Plus, it's something I enjoy doing. Plus, I'll be able to hang out with folks, and I think I could actually do a pretty good job. Maybe if I allow myself to, if they allow me to do that. But so I'm just part of it, and they can always say no. I figure, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But if you do, sign up, and all they can do is say no. Hey, Star Blue, good to see you. I need to make the font bigger, man. Too small. There we go. That's better. Now I can read it. Gong Show. For those who have not watched ancient TV, it just means it's going to be a chaotic mess. That's all. What's up, Zucky? Yeah, it's going to be chaotic, because if you have 10 DMs and you have 50 players, which means you have 10 tables presumably, and it's supposed to be public. It's supposed to be public, as in people are supposed to be watching it. So that means they're going to be an audience. So how are you going to take turns? How are you going to do the rolling? How's it going to last for 4 hours? Is anybody going to get a turn? I don't know how it's going to go. Like, I played enough D&D to know that a 4-player event with one DM trying to do anything is already a bunch of details to fill. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm not the organizer, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm just the guy who shows up. The Taco Tranquility Room is coming into view. We're going to be working on it today. I want to show you guys are going to help me out. We're going to try putting together a section, our section. The way it's working is that each taco team person is designing like a corner, for the Taco Tranquility Room, where people will come in and they'll be like the Samus little setup, and then the ukulele room, and then the and then the Ninja, whatever it is. And so I've got some ideas, I've got some things set aside. All I have to do is kind of go find them, price them, and then we're going to send them in, because they've said, we'll try to get what you want. So we'll send it in and see what they say, and then we'll try to build the room when we're there. That's going to be a lot, because if we order 50 things for these rooms, what's that going to be like, and how quickly we'll be able to set it up, and how do you get all this stuff to one spot? It's going to be a lot of detail, but I think it's going to be really special, because if you come into this room, and the whole idea is to serve the Christian content creators and the people that are attending that are not the greatest, like being in public and being in noises and all the rest of that stuff is not a great, it's not great for them. So there's a place that they can kind of evacuate to, where they can go and hang out. There'd be a nice place to sit. There'd be a nice place to maybe, we'll get some coloring stuff. We'll get some fidgets things. We'll get some nice kind of posters on the wall and whatnot. And it's going to be just kind of place to chill. That's what we're doing. It's meant to serve the people that are coming, that need a place to break away. We're going to be doing some giveaways, all that kind of stuff. But it's not about us. It is about serving the people that are there. But it's going to be detailed. So we're going to work on that later. That's the thing that's going to be the quote unquote game today, is us trying to figure out what the Taco Tranquility Room is going to look like, so we can build that up and send it off. Good morning, shenanigans. If I knew how to stream myself, I'd go back to coloring streams. It's not super hard to set up, but it takes a little bit, right? It takes a little bit. If you want help setting that up and you think it'd be enjoyable, let's we can work on that. We can get you signed up. Then you've already got a Twitch account, so you're part of the way there. You have a computer, I can tell, because of the texting. We should be able to do it. If you want to, we can do it. Okay. This is me trying to figure out what the next steps are. Good. All right. I apologize for being a little out of sorts. Half of my mental RAM is going to the fact that I have a PC running. I don't know why. Can't do it. All right, let's go through. I like this. This is cool. He's got a good Discord community. I'm definitely going to join it at some point. Let's do this first, just because this kind of came up. You guys can follow along as well. It says Annual Streaming Industry Sentiment Checkup. I'm kind of curious as to what this is. So why don't we fill this out on stream while you guys are here? Okay, how do you currently feel about the streaming space? As in, I assume all streaming spaces, everything to do with like YouTube and TikTok and Twitch and just like everything everywhere you can stream. How do you feel about that? Right? Yeah, not quite yet, but one day. Yeah, sure, dude. Anytime. Anything I can do to help. How do you currently feel? Okay, that's a good question. How do I feel about streaming? On one side of it, I think it's a great time to stream. It's a great time to start. It's a great time to be a streamer. We have access to multi-stream. I'm on like 4 different places right now. That's exciting. I'm in vertical. I'm in horizontal. I have tech. There's really good cameras for not a lot of money. There is decent microphones for not a lot of money. All the other software is free. Like OBS is free, and you can get free overlays. And so getting into the streaming thing isn't super expensive, and there isn't like a big wall there. Yeah, you can do it on your phone, right? We actually know streamers who they stream from their phone. They play a mobile game and they have a microphone, and they just kind of like are on their couch playing, and it's a stream people attend. So it is, the gate to get in is very low. However, the space is also very it's crowded. That's the word I'm going to use. It's very crowded in the space. So there's a lot of people, a lot of junk, a lot of bad streams, a lot of low effort stuff, a lot of bots and spam and people buying views and all kinds of like really kind of yucky stuff. But it's on the internet. You can't get away from that. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, the bots are going to be there, and the bad actors are going to be there, and like whatever. you can't get away from that. So should I dock the streaming space for being on the internet? No, probably not. But Twitch, on the other hand, if I would say that specifically, it is. I mean, it's super saturated because of what I said. It's so easy to get on. You know what I mean? It's incredibly easy to just show up and start streaming. And there are a lot of people I know. Well, I don't know. There are a lot of people that I know of, shall we say, that start streaming and they don't have a real reason to be there. You know what I mean? Like what they do is they stream. They're on their Xbox or they're on their PlayStation, and then they just hit go. They just go live. And because they have the internet and because it has the thing, they can just do that and off they go. Not a big deal for them to start, but at the same time, it takes up space, it takes up the bandwidth, it takes up Twitch's money. It costs for them to do that. And so having 90%, I think it is, like at least 85% of Twitch be streaming to 1 or 0 people because they just want to hit go live, I think it's wasteful. And I think it's why are they paying for all that? They should be, how do you start though? Right. I kind of get it. How do you start if you can't start at 1 or 2, and how do you know you're going to grow? And so they got to give people a chance, but whatever. So yeah, it's pretty plugged. And Twitch, I think I would say this, because I'm primarily on Twitch, the sense of anxiety that is sort of built into Twitch because of the changes that they're doing at a well, that's it, right? Like it's should you be bumped or should you be deleted because you're not big enough? Like I'm not saying that. The question is, how do we figure that balance between people who just don't care and people who want to grow and are trying? Like I'm glad I'm not Twitch. Which is to say, it's hard as a Twitch to be able to do this in such a way that you deal with the bad actors, you make it live, as in anybody can do anything at any time, but try to police it in some kind of way with some kind of policy. At the same time, knowing that lowest common denominator stuff like violence and hatred and political stuff and sexuality is going to pervade the platform, which makes advertisers not want to be on there because you never know what you're going to get. So they just remove, they just like, I don't want to be an advertiser on something I can't control. So that's why we go with, whoever you can. And there's certain categories that work better, right? If they go into the art category, or if you go into whatever game category, you're probably more likely. But if you're in just chatting, you're not going to get a lot of ad revenue. You're not going to get a lot of people trying to advertise there because it's the Wild West. 350,000 people, I think, right now. What is the current amount of people? 335,000 viewers right now are watching just chatting. And I don't know how many streamers that is, but I'm guessing that's a lot, which means that there is anybody saying anything is going to be it's going to be a problem. So that's difficult. So part what would make it go from very good down, hello, Alexis, is the fact that it's an anxiety producing place. It is difficult as a content creator to know what's going to happen next month, next year. Will Twitch be here? Will Amazon sell them? What's YouTube going to do? What about Kick? What about Twitch? What about TikTok? Well, like in Canada, they're talking about banning TikTok. Just no more TikTok ever for Canadians. Done. And what does that mean? So there is anxiety in the space. And the question is, how do I feel? Right? So I feel a sense of delight, and I feel a sense of excitement, and I feel a sense of anticipation and joy, and I really enjoy doing it. But at the same time, I also feel trepidation, and I feel anxiety, and I feel nervous about what the future looks like and where things are going to go and what I'm supposed to do. Even like I just said, I was joking about, the new meta for overlays, but that is a little anxiety producing. Like all of a sudden, for whatever reason, clean is the way to go. All this jazz is not the way to go. This is so 5 years ago. And so therefore, it's time to rejigify things, change it up, and put a completely different spin on how it looks to make it cleaner. And that's man, I don't want to redo everything just because that's how people feel. But at the same time, you know, if you're going to compete, you got to compete. That's what I do full time. So I better do that. So it's kind of like that makes it at least a 5. Like the anxiety of not knowing what the companies are going to do and about just kind of doing it makes it difficult. But there's tons of help out there. Not to pat myself on the back, but Taco is a great example of why you can feel better about the streaming space. If you're a Christian content creator, like 3 years ago, you know, your pastor didn't care, your church didn't care, your parents maybe didn't care, they didn't know what to do with you. There was no university out there that would give you any kind of help. There was no books. But now that Taco has been around and Reach has been around and Love Thy Nerd has been around, and of course, you know, Susie's been around, and like you've got all these different kind of digital church, the church digital is around. There's a lot more support out there for people who want to be in the content creator sphere, right? If they want to network and they want to be trained and they want help and they want to read a book about it and they want to take a class and they want to ask some folks and they want to see what other people are doing that are doing it full time, that are putting some hours, that exists now, right? That exists now. I did. And yeah, I was hoping someone would not point that out, but thank you, Blocker. You know, that's a good thing. That should make you feel a lot more secure as a Christian content creator, that you have some backing. You have some people that love you, have some people that will take care of you, have some people that will answer your questions, that, you know, you're not alone. That's a good thing. So that, you know, kind of puts it at a 6, right? Just knowing that. At the same time, it's still a very individualistic thing. And one thing I've learned when it comes to the streamers that I've connected to that are, you know, inside Taco, outside Taco, people that have taken the class, people that I've just bumped into, you know, sort of the names that you know and that I've talked to offline. It is really hard to get connected to them because there's a sense of ownership in a good way of their content, of what they do and who's going to be on there and what they connect to. Plus, because of how busy it is, the grind and you know, try to figure out how to all the stuff you got to do and all the new stuff and all the what's going to be hot and what's the next game and what's the next thing you got to come up with. It's so encompassing that it actually makes it more difficult to do the collaborations and to work together and hey, you know, let's get on a team and let's do things together. It's just harder. And it's good. I mean, I'm glad. Hello, Shepard. A sense of ownership is a good thing. I'm glad people have that. It means they're taking it seriously, but it also means that there's a sort of a blocking wall, because if I want to contact a certain organization or if I want to contact a certain place to you know, kind of be like, hey, you want to do something, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Everybody's busy. Everybody's got their little, they're all doing enough and they're all chasing their tail. Plus, because of the mental health issues just rampant in small streamers and well, on everybody, right? They're already up to their eyeballs. And so that makes it it can be a very lonely space, right? It can be a very lonely space. And so that makes it, how do I feel about it? Well, I feel alone sometimes in what I'm doing, because even if I try to reach out, it doesn't come back. The great example is even at my church, right? I have sat down with meetings for people at church who know what I do, who know that, you know, I'm the resident expert on this stuff. And they've said yes. They want me to participate in, you know, Sunday stream, whatnot, set some stuff up. They've talked about putting money into it. They've talked about the room. They brought it to the board. They brought it to the pastor. They've been talking about it as a sound group, but they won't, you know, they won't push go. They won't actually let me come in. They won't let anybody, you know, kind of start this thing. And it's been 6 months. So that sense of urgency isn't there, which kind of makes me feel sad, because it's so important to me, and I think we could bless a lot of people, but you're stuck. And I think the momentum is still there. So it isn't there yet. It's still difficult to get involved in churches. The denomination still doesn't know what to do with me. Your average church doesn't know what to do with you. It's so, and because there's so many new people that are kind of being called into it, that want to start an organization or start a, you know, club or whatever they want to call it, a guild. There's a bunch of people out there that have bad motivations, or they don't know what they're doing, or they're, you know, too too in too fast. And so that can be a little confusing, but I still think it's better than it was 3-4 years ago, where you have like, just, you don't even know that there are other Christians around. I tell you, because that's how it was. When I first started streaming 4.5 years ago, it was, people would come in and be like, there's other Christian streamers? I've never heard of one. I thought I was the only one. And I just heard that over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's why we have Taco. But now I'm not hearing that nearly as much, which is good. So I'm going to keep that as a 6, unless somebody can figure out another reason that we should feel. Or how do you feel? Like for example, you feel weird, or do you feel like there's something that I've missed? It also means some people neglect the help that they could receive, if that makes sense. Not everyone, but I've noticed that. Yeah, well, and that's true, because there are lots of things out there that you could get, and lots of ways that you can get help. And then I mean, there's lots of tools, and there's lots of free stuff, and there's lots of experts, and lots of videos, and lots of whatever. But it's only as much as you want to go looking for, right? Is pain trying to start something in a large organization while maintaining the integrity of actually knowing what we are doing and learning where we don't? Yeah, it is hard. I mean, Blocker works with a very old but very purposefully how do I put this? It's an organization that works with individuals who have to raise their own support, but are also working with like youth, and working with like people who change consistently, and organizations that are changing and whatnot. Like, it's built in there. And even he's having a struggle trying to sell what he does to them, because it's just so different. So it's not easy, and on an individual or an organizational, but I still feel really good about it. I'm gonna put a 6, because I really do feel like it's a good thing. Really good thing. Compared to last year, how do I feel? I feel better than I did last year. Well, hold on. Last year, I felt pretty good because there's a lot of growth. This year has been a really more difficult time personally for me, but I don't think it's asking about that. But I also think that there have been some growing pains and some stuff that we've wanted to do but haven't done. There's some things that, we've been kind of grinding in the background that hasn't shown a lot of progress. Like, for example, Ukulele and Samus are currently working on org documents. Super not fun, right? It's just, but you got to do it, man. You got to update what your organization looks like, what the policies are, what the plan is, what your, kind of fix your vision, and what the leadership structure is going to look like, because we've been doing it now for a little while. And like, what have we did right? What did we start? What do we need to change? It's got to happen, but it's not fun, and it's all behind the scenes. And so therefore, does it feel better to be popping? I'm teaching classes and people are coming, and I released a book and we got the whole, or does it feel better to know that the organization behind the scenes is maturing, right? One is definitely more exciting. Like, I haven't been able to teach a class in the last 3. It's just because life and because stuff and whatever. So I'm glad I made the videos. I'm glad I recorded and edited all the videos so that people can take the class when I'm not there. That's a good thing. Glad I wrote the book. Glad we did the whole thing, right? That's good. But I really miss teaching, and I really miss hanging out with the people, Hey, Spark, with all the small creators. I miss that. So do I feel better? No, I actually feel worse, because I'm doing other things that I'm not really involved in the stuff that's really, really fun. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go with same, because it's different. It's not worse. It's not better. Like, what's more fun, right? What's more fun, going out and playing sports and having fun with your team, or the diet, the exercise, and all the rest of that stuff that you have to do to be able to play the sport, right? People are like, well, the sport's more fun, but the sport wouldn't be as fun if you weren't doing the prep, right? It just wouldn't. And so therefore, which one's more fun? I don't know. I feel the same. It's just different. It's the same but different. How are your Twitch earnings? They are the same. My Twitch earnings have not gone up in 2.5 years. I've been the same number. And if you look at like the thing that's going on down there, you'll see that my earnings have been stagnated for a while now. The giving has been stagnated, but I will say that there have been people who have given me good gifts. Like, for example, because of the dental surgery and because of all the stuff that's going on just kind of in life, I've had people be like, here, let me help with that. you know, and then here's some money and here's some help and here's some, you know, some support to be able to deal with that problem. So like, I'm not complaining. But if the question is, are you earning more from Twitch and earning more from your donors and whatever this year than you were last year? No, I'm keeping it about the same. So I'm very thankful for that. I have not lost, and that's always the paranoia, right? You're always scared that at some point someone's going to figure out, you know, that you don't know what you're doing and you're making it all up, and then they're going to be like, what? We're going to go pull out of that guy. But they haven't, you know, and it's been really encouraging. So about the same. Generally, what makes you answer the way you did above? What's going well and what's not? What are you concerned about in the year ahead? Well, how about we just did all that? Watch my VOD. Let's see if I can do that. Watch my July 29 VOD where I break down this questionnaire. Did I spell that wrong? Is that silly? That's silly. I'm silly. How's Spark? How's the baby? How's life? I hope you're well. Yeah, that was sneaky, right? We should probably put a marker in now so we can set that aside as a marker end of streamer questionnaire. Did that work? Are you kidding me? You're killing me. I have to log into Stream Elements inside of OBS, which is already logged in because it didn't log into my... Are you freaking kidding me? Fine, I'll do that later. That's killing me, man. That's killing me. I can do it over here on this screen because, wow. That didn't work, did it? No, that didn't work. Usually doesn't show that. Okay, forget it. Can someone put a marker in? Good. Thank you. Okay, some new stuff happening on Twitch. If you're curious, it's slash marker. Oh, okay. Thank you. The new enforcement note was launched for multi-streaming, attempting to clarify how you're not allowed to promote other platforms. So this is a little interesting. They didn't change anything, but they are clarifying what you're allowed to do. So I think I grabbed this. Yeah. So enforcement notes, where's that? Youth safety off. Hateful conduct, harassment, sexual harassment, property rights, nudity. Wow. Play names, tags, prohibited games. Prohibited games? Oh, wow. Didn't know that. Gambling, impersonate. Wow, there is so many policies. Where the heck is the links to social media? How about that? Links to social media. Where's that? Give me that. Is that it? Where'd you go? Anyway, we'll just read it off there then. Sorry, I was trying to make it bigger for you. Says, enforcement notes are additional examples of what is and isn't allowed on Twitch. Grammar procedure tomorrow. Oh, you're having your English language checked? Good for you. Focused on clarifying existing policies already being enforced. Updates here do not indicate a change. Make sure your colon is correct. Oh, that's funny. Okay, number one, links to social media platform profiles on your bio or panels, including links to live streaming platforms, are permitted. Okay, so that's number one. In your about, which is, if you look at your about, my about, that's this, right? That's like the stuff that you put in here. Like, obviously you can put links in here. That's never going to change. They let you do that. But down here is what it's talking about. Your links to stuff, right? So I've got links to my advertising. I've got links to Taco. I've got links to, you know, donations, whatever. I actually don't have a YouTube link down here. That's funny. I only have it up here. No, I've only got it up here, so I'm a good boy. this what it says here is you can do that. You can have a little panel that says you're in YouTube or you're on whatever. It says you may not use your bio or your about me or panels to actively promote other live streaming platforms, including large banners or messages encouraging users to watch your live stream on other services. So mine, like if I go to my twitch.com/whatever, right? Boop. It has the links. So it's not talking about this. Can't be. Because this is there always. But if I go to about, it sounds like what it's saying is this here can say YouTube, but it cannot say come to YouTube. You may not use your bio in your about me or panels to actively promote other live streaming platforms, including large banners or messages encouraging users to watch your live stream on other services. So it can't say come over to YouTube where everything is better and nicer and cooler and more amazing, and don't give any money here and go over there, right? Like it's under spam scams. Okay, here we go. Spam scams. Okay. For example, you may not. It said, what did you say? Enforcement note right there. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, so here, let's make that a little bit bigger. You're not allowed to distribute unauthorized advertisements, obviously. Engage in phishing, duh. Defraud others, duh. Engage in viewership tampering, such as artificially inflating follower live viewer stats. So that's the bot thing. They're actually going to be they're doing something different with bots now. They're using some kind of new tech to make sure people aren't view botting. So that's good. Yeah, it doesn't say you're not allowed to have something that says you're live. Oh, is that what it is? Like a widget that says you're live, or go over here. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the sign? Yeah. Yeah, they did something about view botting. We're going to cover that in a sec. Can't sell or share user accounts. Duh. Really? Okay, but still duh. Can't cheat the reward system, such as the drops or channel points. So this is I think what Thor, the pirate software, got in trouble for, right? What he did apparently was he asked his mods to sounds like an a-hole sign. That's an inside joke. Okay, Zach's not being a jerk. Oh, I'm not more of a jerk. So what he did is he actually asked his mods to inflate the hype system. So they would go in there and they would buy more subs to keep the hype train going, so that he could, have a record for the biggest hype train or whatever. And it was, it would create more buzz. And he got, I don't know if he got in trouble for it or if did anything away, but he got like at least seen by the community as someone who's like doing shady things. Okay. This one here, you may not use your bio for panels to actively promote. Twitch may not be used to drive users to a live stream on another platform. For example, you cannot use Twitch to encourage viewers to alternate live streaming services via links on your Twitch bio, banners, QR codes, broadcast titles, go live notifications, chat commands, or other means. So if you're on Twitch, be on Twitch. That's what that comes down to. If you can't say, come to YouTube, it's better on YouTube, you should come to YouTube because it's got this, that, and the other thing. You can't say in your bio, I primarily stream on YouTube. Twitch is my mirror, right? It doesn't want you to do any of that, it is what it is. I mean, that's, of course, Twitch wants to be your only thing. And the reason they're letting you multi-stream to YouTube, and the reason you're letting you multi-stream to Twitch or TikTok or to X or whatever, whatever, you know what I mean, is because they want to use those as advertising platforms for Twitch. They want people to go onto YouTube and go, oh, this is pretty cool. Sucks that I can't chat along. Sucks that when I chat, I'm not seen on stream. Sucks that when I, but So I better go over to Twitch and if I want to join, I'll go over there, right? That's what they want you to do. Not really. So this is this you can have a panel, but you cannot advertise to go over there. So it can say YouTube, but it can't say watch me on YouTube. Is what I'm gathering. Unless it's a subathon, most streamers I watch are usually like, you are not required to support monetarily, but it's always appreciated. Asking for people to sub. Well, it wasn't the problem with asking people to sub. It was he was telling his mods to sub so that they could keep the hype train going or create the hype train, right? I think that was the issue, which according to whatever lawyer guy was actually fraud, right? He was defrauding people by inflating the hype, by saying he was getting numbers he wasn't getting, things like that. It's quote unquote fraud. That's the issue, right? Yeah, well, no, they're both the bio. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Links to social media profiles in your bio are permitted. You may not use your bio or panels to actively promote other live streaming platforms, including banners and messages encouraging users to watch your live stream. I think that's the difference, right? The difference is he can't, or you can't say go to YouTube instead of Twitch, but you're allowed to say I have a YouTube channel. His mod had an alt account too, so people didn't know it was a mod. Oh, okay, see, that's even shadier, right? Don't do shady stuff. Regardless, man, don't do shady stuff. This makes sense from a Twitch perspective. People get their underwear in a twist because they're like, oh, I want to be able to do whatever I want, wherever I want, as much as I want, and Twitch should just have to lump it. But I don't know why people think that, right? It is not in Twitch's best interests for you to use them as an advertising platform to get you to another platform. It's not. They want to be here. Plus, they know that the system that they have, the system they have for community is the best one on the internet, right? What they do here is very special. What they do here is unique. What they do here isn't anywhere else. And so therefore that's what they've got. So they have the supply and demand, get over here. And so they can do that. YouTube, on the other hand, could easily go the other way and say, you're not allowed to do that. You have to stream exclusively on YouTube or nothing. But they know for a fact that they're not really promoting that. And so it might pull people over to YouTube. As a streamer, I'll say this. As a streamer, technologically speaking, YouTube is superior, right? You can have more bandwidth, you can have higher resolution, you can set your subs, quote unquote, your sub, like what they call memberships over there, to whatever number you want. People can rewind on your stream. It is on there and it's evergreen. They never take it down. The tagging system is better. The discovery system is better. Like, as a streamer, YouTube is superior in from what I can tell every way. The only thing that Twitch has going for it that's better is the community, the people, right? Twitch community, Twitch people really like Twitch and they want to be on Twitch with their Twitch streamers and they don't want to go to YouTube. YouTube overwhelmingly is a passive audience that doesn't really want to participate, right? They will come and they will be on stream and they'll be looking at stuff and they will not be but they won't be stepping in, right? They won't be like, hey, here's what I think it is, whatever. They just want to watch, like a radio or a TV program or any other YouTube video. That's just the difference. And so if you want to be part of the community, come to Twitch. Doesn't make sense to me. They contradict each other. It kind of does, but it also kind of doesn't. I don't know. I'm reading into it myself, right? It's not like I made the policy. It just says you can have links, but you can't have like active panels. That's the difference to me. You can't actually have things that point people elsewhere, but you can have a link, which aren't the same thing. Point one is you can use your bio to link other streaming platforms. Part two is you cannot use your bio to promote other live streaming platforms. I think the word is promote, right? Link and promote are two different things. The statements are the difference between active and passive engagement. Yeah, that's what I would say. It's and I think Ukulele's got a good point in that if there's something that's like, go to YouTube instead of Twitch, that's bad. But if it's just a link to your YouTube channel, that's fine. So TikTok is sort of similar in that way, in that if you put YouTube links in your bio, if you put any kind of non-TikTok stuff in your bio, they'll suppress it, apparently. They don't want you to bring anybody off the platform, and so if you have that stuff in your about, they're just gonna like link in the description kind of thing. They're just gonna suppress your stuff because they want people to stay on TikTok. It's makes sense. Active being direct invitation versus here's a button. Yeah, exactly. I think Zach's got a point, right? That it is vague, right? What is the difference between active promotion? If I have one that says also on YouTube, is that promotion also? Or if I say watch my VODs on YouTube, is that promotion? Or does it just have to say YouTube, my YouTube? You know, like what does promotion mean? I would imagine anything beyond the word YouTube, right? I don't know. So then I can put everything in my links and promote that verbally on stream. Well, exactly, right? Like, what does that mean? Like, I just told you all the wonderful ways that YouTube's better. But is that bad? I don't know. Yeah, I have Linktree. Well, and that's it, right? So I'd imagine if you link to Linktree, you had nothing to do, right? You're not pointing them at YouTube. You're pointing them to Linktree. But is that shady? I don't know. I think the spirit of it is very much like, if you're going to stream on Twitch, be a primary Twitch streamer. Don't be the person who is trying to use Twitch and play the game on both sides. Like Nutty is a great example. If you look at what Nutty released recently, he had a short. If I can find it. This. Okay, hold on. I keep reaching for the other keyboard that no longer exists. Uh-oh. Where's my audio? Did I not? I gotta copy your audio. Hold on. I gotta capture the audio. Application audio capture. Yeah, that one. Create new. Google. Add. Okay, you should be able to get it now.
You can stream on YouTube in both horizontal layouts and vertical layouts at the same time. If you
Nope, that wasn't it. Maybe he deleted it. He might have got his wrist slapped. I wonder. Because his short, like the short really was, I've made a program for you to be able to use to stream on both, and you can do multi chat. I'm trying to figure out, where is it? Combining chats. Yeah.
So a lot of you guys know this by. Do you guys remember when So a lot of you guys know this by now, but you can stream on YouTube in both horizontal layouts and vertical layouts at the same time. If you didn't know that, now you know. But the problem is, you'll notice that both chats are separate. So the horizontal stream has its own chat, and the vertical stream has its own chat, and there's no way to combine them together, which is really annoying. So if you use StreamerBot, you can now...
No, that's old. So he created his own... Anyway, whatever. So he created his own thing that that combines all the chats. That's what he does. All right, have a good one. He said like it combines YouTube and it combines Kick and it combines X and it combines the other one that I won't say, which is a little, that's shady. He's a little annoyed because he got his wrist slapped by Twitch for showing the YouTube stream, right? Yes, and we all know, like we're all like, yeah, but so did Dan Clancy, right? So, or when Dan Clancy was on whoever's stream, the guy with the blonde hair. No, he was using it, right? And it didn't seem to be a problem. So, but whatever. Like it's just don't do it. Don't do it. This is one that I don't know about. You guys tell me because I am not Canadian, but apparently in the US starting today, y'all, if you are streamers, go take a look. In the US, you can now start applying your payout balance to the checkout. So if you have under $50, I think as a non-affiliate, you can spend it. Am I said not Canadian? I am Canadian. I'm not American. That's what I'm not. No, I am Canadian. I'm not American. Like I said, all my RAM is going to the fact that I have a PC running. That's it. I'm using it. I'm single-handedly keeping my PC running with my own brain. Intended point on Twitch is that you cannot promote links on your bio. Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, so this is it apparently only in America, and you guys can use the balance on that you've been given by other people through subs and whatnot. It'll keep track of it, which it did before. But what used to be, you have to be an affiliate, you have to sign the agreement, and you have to have made $100 before they will send you the money. In this case, what it's letting you do is if you have less than that, and apparently if you're in a non-affiliate under $50, I think, if your payout balance did not reach the $50 payout threshold, it's only $50 now, it was $100. Then it will roll over as a spendable balance on Twitch until the next pay period. So you can now buy bits and subs and stuff using the money that people give you on Twitch. I think only in the US. I think that's interesting. It's odd. I kind of like it in that, I don't have to like budget from my bank account, I guess technically. But the problem is I don't know how the taxes are going to go, because, and I said this before, I won't say it again, but like if they tax me on this, right? They tax me on this and then I spend it, and then they tax me on the spending, and then they cut half of it off because they keep half of what was originally given to me, and then they keep half of what I gave out. Like that is a lot of whatever that gift is to me. A lot of that sub is disappearing into the hands of people who aren't me or being used by me, right? It's just gone. And so I don't know. I think it's good for Twitch because they get to keep their money. That's good, I guess. But they also don't get like I don't know what that means for me. I just don't know. Well, and of course they are. They're trying to get their money back, and that's totally fine. It's smart. It's a smart move to say, hey, you don't have to, like, if you can't get payout, you could just use that money and roll it back into Twitch and bless someone else. Good. Yeah. Far out. Very, very cool. If you want to get bits and you can't afford it, but you've got a few people that sent you subs, great, go for it. I just don't know what it'll do for people who are affiliates or who are partners or who are whatever, and what that means for what you get at the end of the month. So if you get $100, and you're going to be sent $100, but you spend 50 of it on other people, will they only send you 50, or will they tax you on 100 and keep 50? Like, I don't know. We're thinking of an incentive for people who don't get a payout. Yeah, which makes sense, right? Like, now you can use it and you can do cool stuff. I just don't know what it means for me personally. I'm gonna sit down. Because I'm not a partner, but I am an affiliate. And I make over the threshold. So, but I don't know. No idea. We do the same thing in our town for Town Martins gift cards that can be used at specific businesses. It's actually kept around $2 million in the community over the past 2 years. It's actually a goated way to make money. Okay, yeah, I mean, it does. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. It really does. More non-affiliates out there, so they are focusing on that. I think 75% is out. Yeah, well, if 90% or whatever of Twitch is streaming to 0 to 1 person, then yeah, your affiliate number is going to be real low. Comparatively, right? There's still a lot of affiliates. I think I saw there was a site. No, it was the Twitch cancellation site tracker. I can't remember what those are called. No, what are they called when you get in trouble? Twitch ban, right? Streamer bans. That's what it's called. So there is. It tracks streamer bans. So there are 68,000 partners. In the last 30 days, 711 of them were banned. Oh no, they're new. No, this is how many new ones, and there were 265 banned. Okay, so that this tracks that, and you'd think that if there are 68,000 partners, how many affiliates are there? Right? I don't know. I don't think there's a probably a way to track that. I really don't. If you go to Twitch tracker. And you go to, well, just go to the main Twitch tracker. You have 1.184 million streamers daily over the weekly average, right? And if you have concurrent streams on average is 93,000, right? That's how many streams there are. I don't know how the unique streamer. So a streamer can start and then stop, and that wouldn't be concurrent because one would have ended and one would have started, so they're not concurrent. That makes sense. 58 million or almost 56 million hours watched, and 2.5 million concurrent viewers, which was just broken, by the way, by that female boxing thing that just happened. They got like 19 million viewers or something all at once. Yeah, so there's that. Crazy, right? It still doesn't tell me how many affiliates there are, but if you've got that many streamers and 60,000 of them are partners, and you know that it still keeps it over 1 million. So even if you take 25%, that's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, if you guys tell me, shoot me a message or shoot us a message in Taco if you have this day one monetization thing set up and you're in the US. I'm curious how it works. I want to see how it goes. Oh, does that show you how many affiliates there are? Oh, there you go. Sorry, I saw the link and it said how many partners. I'm like, I already know that. Interesting. 2.742 million affiliates. Crazy, man. Crazy, man. They're mostly English, but there's a lot of other. So where's Spanish? No, new Spanish, Portuguese, German, French, English is. So we know it's not Korea. So is that what? Japanese? What's other? Because that's substantial. It's not a small number. Rest of the planet, I suppose. That's a lot of affiliates. I wouldn't have guessed that it would have been almost 3 million. Yeah, if you see this, if you get this day one monetization, shoot me a message on stream on TikTok or oh, man, come on, brain. Twitch. No. Discord. Ah! Give me a sec. Okay, brain, let's go. Discord. If you have it, shoot me a message. Take a screen cap. Let me see what it looks like in Discord. Related to the above story, Twitch updated the monetized streamer agreement. This is an interesting little thing here. He did the streamer agreement. Where's that? View bots. I don't think he actually did the run. Yeah, I don't think he did it. That's okay. But I tried to ask ChatGPT to figure out what the heck it is. I don't know. It just basically is the same thing as where you have, you know, like you can spend your own stuff and whatnot. So like it's a little different. I'm kind of curious as to if it ever will. You aren't verified yet. I can get verified? I'll do that later. Oh, that's not even me. What? That's the wrong one. That one. Non-affiliates. That's crazy, man. That's super crazy. Okay, so I don't know anything about this. The monetized streamer agreement. I literally don't know what he did dude with it. See if there's anything next. Nope. Toronto meetup. Let's go. I'm near there. Inauthentic viewership. Yeah, no, we're figuring. No, that's not it. Be shoujo. Payout balance. Yeah, and not really covered. That's okay. All right. Well, you guys figured that out. This is an interesting one. The bitrate for 2K streaming is enhanced to 9,000 kbps. So what they did before is, so they have this beta program that is for people who signed up for it and they have enough jam in their computer to be able to stream at 2K. So 2K is 1440p, and they upped the bit rate at that point from 6,000 to 7.5, right? Which is still quite not quite enough. Like, I think YouTube, if you ask YouTube to what it wants at 2K, I think it wants like 20 up. How much bandwidth for YouTube at 2K needed? That's how you say words. 10 to 16, right? It really wants a lot more than 9. For some reason, they think that they can, you know, they can do it with less. I don't know. Like I said, from a streamer perspective, it's a lot easier to stream high def on YouTube. They just allow you to do it. Twitch is seemingly trying to keep it smaller. Like, this is the bare minimum. Like, this is, you're still going to get artifacting. You're still going to get some jitter. And for that matter, I'm pretty sure if you do 2K, you may have to run your own AVI compression, which is going to be a problem for the transcoding, which, if you don't know what that means, basically your computer has to do the heavy lifting instead of their computer. And then your computer has to be the one to send it out in 4 different versions, right? As in, like, to transcode it to the 720, transcode it down to 140, so that people who have less internet or who are on mobile or listening through audio or whatever, that they have access. Because otherwise it'll just come out. Anybody who wants to watch this has to watch in 2K. I don't think this is for people who are trying to do transcoding. Maybe it is, but it's definitely only going to be for partners. And right now it's only for people who are in the beta program. I have filled out the beta program. Please let me have that 3 times, and they still have yet to let me. So we'll see. We'll see. I will try. I really want to stream in 4K. I think it's going to be good. What? Wait. I would enjoy that because I'm a sucker for high def. Plus my monitor's 2K, right? So you'd actually be able to see what I see as opposed to it stepping down. Twitch, I imagine, has a lot less servers. You probably... I don't think so. Because one of the major things that Amazon does to make money is their Amazon cloud services, their Amazon... what do they call it? Amazon AEW something. It basically, they have 1 million billion servers, and they rent it out to half the planet for processing and gaming and businesses and financial transactions. Like they have a huge amount. So, and it's a major player and major moneymaker for them. So they've got the processing power. It's just that they're just cutting it down. Now, I'd imagine the whole thing is like, hey, Twitch, you're costing us a lot of money, right? Millions of dollars to run Twitch every day. AWS, that's it. Yeah, Kick runs on AWS. I know, it's crazy, man. So I'd imagine, because they're like, you're costing us a lot of money for transcoding, thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, whatever. And so therefore, and they're like, okay, but can we do that more and have more more bandwidth? I'd imagine Twitch or like Amazon went, no. I don't know. Allocation of server resources as YouTube. Yeah, true. I mean, Google is its own thing and they have entire farms. You're right. But I still think it'd be close. This is interesting. The Twitch running call outs in chat for 3 months worth of subscriptions. That's new, right? That's new. It used to be month to month and now you can do quarterly, right? Which it's a little bit of a savings, and you get some every 3 months, which I think from my side of things, I haven't seen this yet, but they're running it in. You can do that before? Okay, I haven't seen that, but apparently they're advertising it now. But that's kind of nice from a streamer perspective. It's nice when you can get the consistency of knowing what you're gonna get and whatnot. But at the same time, that's, pay $16.17. Not in Canada. Not in Canada. That Canadian is really expensive. Like if you try to sub in Canada, it is a lot of money. Blocker, how much is it to sub in Canada right now? It's like $8.99, right? $7.99? Yeah, $7.99. So multiply that by 3. So 8 times 3 is 24. Take 10% off that. You're still at 22, $22.50 or whatever. So it's still a lot, but one lump all at once, I guess. There you go. How much? Okay, now you know how much with tax. Prime for the win. Yeah, Prime is great. My subscribe is like $1.99, I think. Is it really? Because where you live? Yeah, they do. They have different pricing. You're right. Hey, thank you for the sub. That'd be crazy if we got a hype train. That'd be kind of cool. But thank you. I appreciate that, Jesse. Very kind. And yeah, so like I'd imagine with tax, $7.99 plus tax, so 1.13, 13 cents on the dollar multiplied by $8, so that's $8.4, right? So you're got a glitch that said 20 months and then immediately 21 months. Oh, that's fun. At least it can do math, or can't. All right. So yeah, they just set a new record at 14 million, and they obviously in the same stream, that one streamer that was doing that event got a bunch. So that's kind of cool. And then because of what happened with V Shoujo, which I don't know if you guys are knowing what's going on with V Shoujo. I heard about it yesterday. I heard about it a little bit from you guys. So they've removed this emote. Why'd they do that? Well, because where is it? Down here? Oh, yeah. Threads, Japan, Digi, Instagram, Creator. Oh yeah, there you go. Iron Mouse left V Shoujo. So V Shoujo is a VTuber company, right? They get VTubers and they support them and whatever. V Shoujo is being an absolute tool. It's so insane to me what they're doing. If you look at I think this is it. Yeah. I'm going to read this because it is so crazy to me the way that he phrased this and the way that he is trying to talk as though this was a oopsie doopsie, and it wasn't. So it says just V Shoujo has failed and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. That's humble. That's hard to do. Admitting that is hard to do. Like I suck. I broke Taco, and Taco's broken because of me, and now I have to quit, and Taco's dead. You know, that would be really hard to say, and hard to hard to publicly say. Says this. So today I'm sharing difficult news that V Shoujo is shutting down. I take full responsibility for the decisions that led to this point. I've been doing everything I can to fundraise and right the ship in these past few months, but despite my efforts, we're in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. So that little phrase there, and again, I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but I can say that you'd think that with having some of the biggest streamers in the world, and if they're doing, like one of the things you're told when you're a content creator is to be really careful about these, or a VTuber for that matter. Be careful about these companies that want to come and take your stuff, right? Come and get your money, because they're gonna like take half, and they're gonna like lock you in, and it becomes not really cool, and you got to guarantee all these hours, and it can like be really kind of a grind, and some can be very kind of abusive, or some very exploitative. And so therefore, I'm not saying Bishoujo was, but I will say that within the industry, they should have been making money off of their VTubers. So where was the money going? That's my question. Where was the money going? And why wasn't it enough? If you're taking money off the top for whatever, the biggest VTubers in the world are getting, how are you not making money? What did you do with it? It says this. Over the past few years, we raised around $11 million to pursue a bold talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits to achieve long-term sustainability. So what's that code for, right? Like, we raised $11 million. So in other words, we went to various places and backers, and we were able to get $11 million back so that we could approach big talent, so that we could make really good creators, and that they would be able to be, here, and so we could sustain long term. Okay, so $11 million is a lot of money. That's a lot of money. If you gave me $11 million and said create a talent agency that would be able to connect, some of the biggest streamers and whatnot, you'd be able to get a lot of really good streamers. You know what I mean? And if you had an agreement with them that said the money that you make, or the subs that you make, or the, whatever, we get 10% on top, and we will pay for some employees to do your shorts, to do your YouTube channel, to send you graphics, to make sure that your models all work. We'll do tech support. Like, even if you took $1 million of that $1 million and you set that aside, and you said, we're going to pay $50,000 a year to people who are, professionals, you'd have 20 full-time professionals working on this for the entire year, full-time. That is a lot to kind of run. And even if you had 20 VTubers within your, really good ones, that'd be more than enough, right? And they're not going to have problems every day. How many tech support do you have compared to computers in your average company? I don't know, but I know it's definitely not one-to-one. So it's, I don't know what they were doing with the money, right? Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concerts, events, and staffing, all designed to support them. So that might have been them going, like, overstretching themselves and getting too big for their britches and thinking that they are super cool and doing cool stuff for cool reasons. Let's be cool. And they ended up thinking that if they spent all this money, it would magically create more money. But what did they sell? I don't know. What was their selling structure? Did they sell merch? I don't know. We also wanted talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator-first approach to the agency. However, despite our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain the model. Eventually, we ran out of money. I want to know why. I'd like to know why. I'd like to learn from whatever they did. Because if it was very creator first, and like say Iron Mouse owned her IP, which is good, and Iron Mouse, you know, they helped her get all these splits and all the rest of that stuff, they would have still been making money. The income would have still been there. What'd they spend all the money on? Where'd the money go? Despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the ad revenue, and we ran out of money. So if I had to guess, what's going to happen over the next 6 months is you're going to find out as they dig down that the leaders of V Shoujo were doing shady stuff with the money, or they were investing in shady stuff, or they were like spending it like it was water in their own life, or they had their income was like $1 million a year, and they were paying themselves exorbitantly because they thought the money would just keep coming, and they just were being dumb. There's no way that it's going to be our really good system that we took all that time to make sure that it was good. Just magically stopped. It just didn't work anymore, even though we had the biggest streamer, biggest VTuber in the world. It doesn't make sense. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. That's the thing that shot them in the foot. Like literally everybody left. If you look here, since the announcement, it seems that all of the VTubers have left the company. And that's the downside of the whole own your IP thing, right? They're like, well, you can leave immediately. Legal YouTube channel broke down. Basically, they were borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, not making enough to catch up. But still, what were they paying for? That's my question. What are they paying for? Where was the money going? That's what I don't get. And this whole thing makes no sense. That if you are a charity, right? And I was part of a church for a long time, leadership of the church. What we did is we took the money that you give, and if it was set aside, like someone had written in it, like for whatever, for this missionary or for that missionary or for this project or whatever, you take this and you put this over there, and then nobody touches it. It just, that number just adds up and you release it. That wasn't your money. You're just taking it, putting it through the budget, and then sending it off to wherever it goes. You don't ever put it into the general fund. You don't ever use it for anything other than that, because it is literally set aside only for that person, only for that group, only for them. That you don't touch it. You can't touch it. You're not allowed. So if you are doing this as an organization and you're like, this is for charity, we're doing a charity stream, and you don't have a system that lets you, that just kind of takes that and puts it into a whole another container, it doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any, you can't do that. I don't know, man. That was shady. That's shady. Super shady. I learned that we were, I didn't realize that money was coming in was for the poor kids. That's why I gave it to my boat. That's why I gave it to my friends. That's why I spent it on a fax machine. That's what people spend things on, right? A fax machine? Like I didn't realize that was for the kids. I didn't know that was for the sick people. Like, you shouldn't have had to. That should have went straight into the, we're not allowed to touch this pile, because you have that policy in place, right? Stupid. At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs, right? That. My second Cybertruck. This here, right? At the time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover our costs. And I firmly believed, based on the information available to us, that we would be able to do so to cover all of our expenses. So if I'm not going to accuse the guy, but that certainly reads like I really thought I'd get away with taking that money out of the hands of the hospital or the people who were sick and using it to pay our bills, and that it would be totally fine and I wouldn't get caught. I really thought that that's how it's going to go. I promise that's what I thought. As opposed to, I didn't know that money for charity was for charity when it was doing a charity stream into our charity line. I didn't know that. That's why I used it to buy things. That's shady. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. Yeah. No, you weren't. You were actually quite successful, and she raised like $1 gazillion. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. What? I made a decision to steal the money out of the mouth of the sick kids, and yeah, that was me. Sure, okay. I'm deeply sorry to all the talent, staff, friends, community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin or Gunrun. Okay, so there is... I am kind of curious. How long is this video? Oh,
I am.
hold on. Let's watch this. It's only 11 minutes long. You'd think he would go to jail. Sorry, my bad. Give me 1 second. Okay. Pause. Let's watch this and see what she says. Can we take some of the 11 minutes of this video to put it towards something else? Yeah, that's right. Hey, Jim. Good to see you. Fundraising funding. He's saying he means to get more loans. Yeah, well, that's what I meant to get fundraising, but it sure reads as I was desperate and doing dumb stuff behind the scenes. That's just how it reads.
I am leaving Bishojo. Unfortunately, I recently found out that for the past couple of months, I have been misled by Bishojo. With the information that I currently have, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the thing that hurts me the most is that the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is the most important charity to me, and also the reason why I'm here today, is owed over $500,000 from Bishojo. I know that this is a lot, and it's very important for me to be honest with all of you. I really want to tell you everything, but unfortunately right now, I have been instructed by my attorney to wait for more of the legal procedure to unfold. So one day, I will be able to tell you the full story. But for now, I just need to let you know
Right.
that I will no longer be a part of Bishojo. If you give me a moment of your time, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I know for a lot of people right now that this might be the first time you're ever watching me. I became a VTuber because I really wanted to make friends. I was very lonely due to the fact that I have a primary immune deficiency disease called CVID. I basically have a low to near non-functioning immune system, which means I get sick a lot, and it caused me to remain isolated for long periods of my life. So then I found streaming, and I thought about giving it a try because I wanted to see if I could make some friends online, because I honestly couldn't ever leave my room. I never really expected to grow an audience or anything. It was one of the last things on my mind. I just thought that I would stream to, 5 to 10 people and just hang out from time to time, make some friends, play games, and just continue on with my life. But unfortunately, I was too scared to stream with my face. So a friend of mine recommended that I try an app called FaceRig that would allow me to use an anime avatar to stream, and that's how I started VTubing. It took me a while to take it seriously and even begin to think about maybe being able to grow a community and even make this a career. I think I really started to take it seriously around the time when I was approached to join Bishojo, and it was through Bishojo that I was able to grow into the Iron Mouse that I am today. When I was approached in 2020 and asked to join Bishojo,
So there, not that I know this, but from a sort of an evil perspective, like as an organizational developer, it's going to sound really terrible when I say it out loud, but hey, it's just legit. If you find somebody that's got some talent, but also has a hook, Like, for example, they are. Yeah, it is. It's really, yeah, you're right, Zucky. It is easy to do. If you find somebody with a hook, like, for example, they are a visible minority, or they have some kind of, disease or some kind of physical issue, or they are in some kind of weird place, or they are impoverished, or they have something that makes it so that they are unique and different in some kind of way, that has a bit of a sympathy card you can play. Right? Kind of say, because it's a pull. That way people want to pull for them. People want to connect with them. People want to be able to, and then anybody who like poops on them, they're a bad guy. Right. And then you could build content on that. You can build, defense on that. And so therefore, from V Shoujo's perspective, if you're like, this person knows what they're doing, they're actually really talented. They have a great voice, decent model, and they've got an immune disease. I sound evil saying it, but you know what I mean. And that's a slam dunk. That's a no brainer, as they say. And so therefore, I'd imagine that when she was approached, if her start of this was, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm not really totally sure how to, what this is all about. I'm going to, like this is exciting. I can't imagine she gave it a ton of thought, but we'll see. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I would, as a young person and offered that and whatever, I wouldn't either. That'd be really exciting. Like a guy who's in a wheelchair then accidentally stood up. Yeah, I saw that. Right? Yeah, people do this. People definitely do that. Try to mess with that. You're right.
Seemed like a good idea, but I honestly did not know if I could ever be a corporal VTuber, because I felt like I just couldn't. In my mind, I saw myself as unhireable, which is why streaming worked for me. I had no boss, no strict rules, I had no hours, no expectations. It was all up to me, and due to the fact that I have lived my life chronically ill and being unable to do much of anything, I just felt like there was no way that anyone would ever take me or want me. For a while, I was struggling to make a decision because I was afraid about my anonymity and afraid about trusting people, because I felt like every time I put my trust in people, it always ends in grief for me. So
that's rough. That's rough. I know that she's a sympathetic character and this is kind of a lot of, or at least I know from the little bit that I know about her that this is kind of her thing. And I know because when I started this stream, I was very similar, going through a bunch of stuff, going through hard things, sharing my heart, sharing all the stuff that is kind of going wrong in my life, and crying on stream, and like I did that a lot and still do. So it ends up being, part of your thing, and people kind of want to pull for that. But at the same time, the all those concerns, right? Community waiting in chat before stream starts. I have no schedule, right? You do. I mean, you need a schedule. That's part of it. And I'm certain that the thing is, you don't have to. If you are not very big, say, I don't know, anywhere between 3 and 30, you have the flexibility. Like today, for example, I didn't shower for 2 days. Gross, I know, but I was working on stuff and whatever, and things weren't great. And so today I sent out a message just saying, I need to go shower and I'm going to be a half hour late. And there weren't very many people who were going to get, have a problem with it. If I had way more people watching or whatever, you'd feel an extra sense of pressure to go and to make sure you're on, especially if you have a contract that says make sure that you get on there and you have to be on for 6 hours at a stream, 4 days a week, however many, whatever. Like you have to, you have to do that. That's a lot of pressure. When I was a pastor, like one of the best things in the history of the universe for me was when I was able to go from full-time pastor, contract pastor, as you'd say, because I was paid by a group who was who were expecting me to do work, man. They and then I came on to do stream. I didn't have to do nothing for nobody, man. I didn't have to do nothing for nobody. I streamed when I wanted to. I did what I wanted to. I could go as fast as I wanted to. When I was working those 16 hours a day or whatever, nobody stopped me. Nobody was there to stop me. When I was doing content that I wasn't sure if it was mature or whatever like that, nobody was up my nose to stop me. And actually it became a problem because when I got to about a year and a half, Taco was starting to grow. Well, no, but 2 years, whatever. Taco was starting to grow. The stream was starting to grow. Things were happening. I all of a sudden kind of hit this wall where I was like, what happens now? I didn't know what to do. And I realized it was because in all the previous ministries that I've been part of, I grew the place. We got bigger. Well, God, it's all God. I hope you understand that when I say that. When I was there and that was part of my ministry, God was doing this through it. Okay, so please understand, it's not me. God grew the place, and it would get bigger. It would get more successful. We would be more money, more space. Like that would happen. And then someone would get their underwear in a twist and blow the whole thing to smithereens. They'd start lying. They'd start doing dumb stuff. They'd bring up crazy things in meetings, and it would just completely tank the whole process. We'd be distracted, and that'd be that. So I get to the place where things are growing and things are good and things are nice and like I've got people that are depending on me, and I've got a board and a stream team and all kinds of cool stuff. And then all of a sudden, sort of unconsciously, I'm waiting for it to explode. And I kind of got stuck, and I was stuck for probably 2-3 months. Like, why do I feel like I just don't know what to do with myself? I was super confident. This is what we should do. And then I'm like, I don't know what happens now. And I realized it was because I'd never been that far before. I'd never been this far before without someone blowing up my life. But I didn't have anybody to do that. There was nobody who could do that. Like there was no board I was beholden to or contracted to or some kind of group that I was that I had to report to. Like I didn't have any of that. And so therefore I had to get over that. And I can totally understand the hesitancy like for Iron Mouse to be like, I don't know, man, signing this thing might be a deal with the devil and you just don't know. Right? Like Asmund Gold, want to be a big streamer. Do what the big streamers do. Yeah. I get what she's saying. She didn't have the confidence when she started to commit to anything. She developed it as she went. Things that she's saying she couldn't agree to, she eventually did in order to grow. Yes. Well, because once you sign with a group like that, and Taco's no different. Once you're like, we're currently working through what it means to be a Taco team member, what it means to be a Taco board member, a leadership team member, what the accountability structure is. It's just part of it, man. Like when you show up and you're like, I want to be part of the Taco team, I want to be on the board, I want to, represent Taco, we're going to hand you a sheet of paper that says, here's what you're not allowed to do, and here's what you're allowed to do, and here's what we expect. Why? Because you represent an organization now. It comes with the territory, just the way it's going to be. And it's the way it is for me, that's the way it is for everybody. And it's the way it is when you're on there. So I'd imagine when she signed on, they're like, okay, I know you're sick, and I know there's issues, and I know whatever, but here's the deal. You got to this, that, and the other thing. You got to do it. That's what the agreement is. And I'd imagine from a sick person's perspective, kind of going, I don't know about that. I don't know if I should do that because, like, what if I let people down? That'd be really nerve wracking. It really, really would. But yeah, Jim, I wasn't afraid of history repeating itself as much as I'd never been that far before. Right? Like, let's say you're baking a cake, and as you're baking your cake, like you've gotten as far as cracking the eggs and mixing in the flour and putting it all together. And every time you go to pour it into the oven, someone comes by and knocks it out of your hand into the sink. Every time, right? You've mixed, you put it together. Well, no, I guess in this case, I did make the cake. So whatever. I made the cake, but when I went to ice the cake, I don't know. At some point, someone craps in your cake. And you're like, and you've never gotten to the place where it passed there every single time. So now you're mixing the cake and you're pouring it in, and like you can understand just kind of standing there and waiting for someone to come and kick your cake over or poop in your cake, and it's not happening. And I'd be standing there with the bowl in my hand, batter dripping out, going, where is the person that's supposed to come and dupe up my cake, right? And nobody was doing it. And so I had to get past that, and eventually, talk it out with the board, talk it out with people that, in Taco, and what are we going to do? And, keep it simple. And like, I remember distinctly a message that Ukulele sent me one time, and she's like, it was encouragement that things were okay. Cause I don't know, I'm freaking out, probably because I was freaking out. And she's like, we're progressing at a good rate. We're being deliberate. We don't intend to try to grow quickly. Things are fine. There's no pressure to do this, do that, and make sure this is happening. We're just trying to follow what God wants. And so far we're being okay. So, nobody's going to come by and kick your cake out of your hands. So it'd be okay. So we started going, and then we moved forward. But that took a little while. It was pretty nerve-wracking to be part of an organization. And I'll tell you what, even now, I still feel like a sense of, because they're important to me, like the board is important to me, Taco is important to me. I still feel like I don't want to let anybody down. So there is a sense of pressure, but not nearly like it was when I was part of a church board, right? Canteen fun. I've not had someone poop in my cake before. No, you're not supposed to. Yeah. I'm very thankful for people who have not had their cake pooped in, like I have. I'm glad for that. That's how it's supposed to go. But you know what? Some of us, that's not our destiny. That's not the Lord's plan. And yeah, let's keep going on this Iron Mouse thing, because I think someone's about to poop in her cake.
So I was worried about expectations and 1,000,001 other things, but I ultimately decided to join Vishojo. It really pains me that I am unable to fully explain why I am leaving. But for right now, here's what I am allowed to share with you. I would always be told how important I was for the company, and I was always told that I was needed in order for the company to succeed.
That's rough. I don't want to be read between the lines, but I'm actually usually pretty good at it. And that means they were pressuring her, right? That when they were panicking, and you could read the panic in that tweet, wherever that tweet went. Nope, wrong tweet. This tweet? That tweet. This one. You could read the panic in this tweet, right? Where it is, I was panicking. I didn't know where the money was coming from, and I was trying to find the money. We were spending it on the wrong stuff. I didn't know what was happening. I tried to steal it from the mouths of the children who were very sick, and it wasn't worked out, And then when you hear the words, I was always told I was super important to the company, and that the company was riding on my shoulders, and if I didn't, then the company would be like, yeah. And obviously there's things she can't say because she'll be, it'd be in trouble. She'd probably get in trouble.
Although that was very positive to hear, it put a lot of pressure and a lot of stress on me, to the point where I felt guilt-tripped into signing. I felt responsible for everybody. I felt responsible for staff and talent alike. And I felt like if I didn't do this, and if I didn't stay, I was hurting everybody, and I was destroying everybody's life. But this didn't feel right with me, and I began to feel extremely uncomfortable, as my viewers know.
That is, yeah, I can sympathize with that in the sense of, once the pressure that other people are depending on you starts really becoming real, like serious. If you don't show up to the meeting, if you don't show up to if you don't do your side of the homework, if you don't fill out that paperwork, if you don't, do the thing, show up to the place, not only are you in trouble, but you're getting other people in trouble, right? Like if I absolutely blew up my life, like I, cheated on my wife or got caught stealing, or all the funds I was doing was going straight into, prostitutes and cocaine. Not all of it, just a good portion of it. Like, you got to pay for donuts too. I'm Canadian still. But like, if I was caught with that, it wouldn't be only me, right? It wouldn't be only me that was affected. It would be all of Taco. And there would be, not that I'm be all end all, but it would be like, what the heck happened over there, and the lack of trust and all kinds of stuff, right? Yeah, prostitutes and cupcakes. That's exactly what I said. And it would affect other creators, affect everybody who take the class. And I have felt no pressure from anybody. Nobody in Taco, nobody in the team, nobody in anything has ever said, if you screw up, we're toast, because it doesn't work that way. We make sure, as with Taco, that everybody's responsible for their own channel. Everybody has their own community. Everybody has their own stuff. Like nobody's really dependent on Taco. It all goes from Taco out, right? We create a resource, we send it out. We create a Discord, we invite people to it. We create a network, and other people can be part of it. But we don't take, right? We don't take. We give away the book to the students. We give away the class for free. It costs nothing to be part of the team, right? It's all volunteer based. Like, everything goes out. So that's what we try to do, right? And so we're not trying to take, but at the same time, we're still interconnected, right? We're still interconnected. And it would, so therefore, if something blew up or anything went sideways, it would still be a problem. Now with Iron Mouse, this group, Vishojo, starts up, or I don't know when they started, but whatever. They find this young girl who's clearly got talent. She's got a thing. She's got a great voice. She's got a great thing. And so when that starts taking off, it sounds like, basically, like someone used the word exploit, right? Someone exploiting, pressuring her. And if they start spending money they don't have, and the way that they're making money is this cash cow named Iron Mouse, then they're going to, and they're all panicking behind the scenes because they've made promises that they can't do unless Iron Mouse makes them a certain amount of whatever, then the relationship is going to be very strained, right? Very, very strained. That wouldn't be the case with Taco. Because if someone, was like, I can't stream this week, there's no one at Taco to go, if you don't stream, Taco will fall. It's not going to happen, because it's not how we're designed, but it is designed in that way, right? Apparently they had so substantially tied themselves to her that she was feeling a sense of pressure, which is exactly the opposite of what she wanted when she signed up. I can't imagine the conversation she had with them beforehand. You'd think that it would have been, listen, I'm sick. Sometimes I can't stream. Like I have mental health issues. I've got physical health issues. I've got, whatever. Like this is a reality for me. You'd think that there would be a lot. Hopefully she had a lawyer when she started, but probably not. My guess is she probably didn't, because she just a YouTuber or VTuber sitting in her room, with some agency. Maybe, hopefully she was smart enough to, but I'd imagine things got a little dicey there. Bishojo was a decent company at first, but they made promises. It's, they were like, we have lots of really good ideas. And then, I don't know, like any other place that's not run on, biblical principles or whatever, that it's easy to create, to lie to yourself and to try to take from others.
Oh, privacy has always been one of my biggest concerns.
Oh, she's well over.
A lot of scary.
Iron Mouse was in her 20s. "28. Yeah, she's old. She's old.
Experiences in my life. So one amazing thing for me was the fact that Vishojo handled all my payments, and it meant that I never had to give out any of my personal information. So that was always a blessing to me. As time went on, I decided that I wanted to try to start pulling out my remaining funds because I wanted to start taking over my own finances. This is what led me to this point. Throughout the years...
So, not to read between the lines, and I don't know what happened, but as she got bigger and as someone, she probably went and talked to an accountant and probably went and talked to a lawyer, and they went, show me your paperwork. And they went, holy doodly moodle, you could do a lot better. Do you own your IP? Yes, I do. Do you have access? Could you leave whenever you want? Yeah, I can. So are they holding a bunch of your money? I don't know, check into it. And then they look into it. Yeah, she's got a whole lot of money of yours. You should, it's time for you. The smart thing for you to do right now is to leave them. You're big enough on your own. You should be able to take care of this. You should be fine. Right. And they're doing this, that, and the other thing to you. So you should probably consider getting out of there before they explode. And then when she went looking for the money, she's like, okay, cool. Can I have my money now? And they went, When people are new to that kind of thing, I'd imagine they don't really think of getting lawyers. Everyone just yeah, exactly. Precisely. That's one of the things we're trying to do properly when it comes to Taco, right? Like when we became a nonprofit organization in the United States, it's like that's a legal thing. There are requirements there, man. Like you can't just do that. If she's old as that, like the rest of us, ancient. I am ancient.
Connor and I have raised around $4 million to start pulling out my remaining funds because I wanted to start taking over my own finances. This is what led me to this point. Throughout the years, Connor and I have raised around $4 million for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The majority of the money raised is through Tiltify at events like the Cyclothon, the charity auction, and other miscellaneous events that we've had. However, because of the success of my first subathon, I decided to donate half the earnings of my following 2 subathons to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. The first time I tried this, it worked great. Over 200,000 people supported me, and because of that, we raised over $329,350 to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Because the money came from my Twitch revenue instead of a Tiltify link, it required Vishojo to make the donation on my behalf. They promptly sent the payment, and the subathon was a huge success, so I decided to do it again the next year. My last subathon was one of the biggest events I've ever done. The support was overwhelming, and I ended up getting over 300,000 subscribers and breaking the all-time sub record. But this also meant that we had raised $515,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I once again asked Vishojo to make the donation on my behalf, but unfortunately, still a year later, Vishojo has not paid the charity. The Immune Deficiency Foundation means the world to me.
That's go to jail. Is that not go to jail? Shouldn't they go to jail? Like I don't mean to be too pointed, but like if you have an agreement that says you're going to take this money and you're going to go give it to charity, your employee, right, says to do it, and they agree to it, right? Like, yeah, like you maybe, and then maybe the loophole is that it was one of those handshake things where it's like, can you do this for me? And they're like, sure, no problem. And then they just don't, as opposed to her, you know, doing the thing where you write up a contract and you say this is going to happen and blah, blah, blah. And then there's going to be a big paperwork trail. As if she was just like, yeah, it worked out twice. Like, why would I do that? I would do that. If I was working with people and they just did it and it would be totally fine, I would be like, yeah, let's do it again. And if they kept all the money, you know, and I've been taken for a ride a couple times because I trusted someone, a bit more hesitant now, but it's, you know, I can see just being like, it's going to work out. They worked out before. Why would I do anything? And then after a while, they're not. I don't know. You know, that's tough. And she's a busy girl, right? As a content creator, you're like, okay, I did a thing and I'm sure it worked out. Let's go, bye. And then, you know, how long until you find out, hey, where's the money? Like, charity's not going to be like, where's the money? And the Vishojo isn't going to be like, hey, we haven't paid them yet. So, like, someone would have to go look into it. And if she just assumed it was fine, it would take a little while, right? I did. I got the anime is taking over. These days, someone like Iron Mouse is arguably more famous for younger generations than a movie stars when we grew up. Yeah, truly. Very, very known. Very, very known. Yeah, it sounds like go to jail to me too.
Connor and I have both spent a ton of energy, time, and resources raising money for charity. And we're both so proud to be able to say that we've raised nearly $4 million for charity. We almost always raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. They help people with primary immune deficiency diseases, or PI, which are inherited disorders where a part of the body's immune system is missing or doesn't function properly, which makes people like me more prone to infection. And this includes over 450 different conditions. The Immune Deficiency Foundation is a charity that is near and dear to my heart and has a particular significance in my life. When my health first started getting really bad, the Immune Deficiency Foundation helped me immensely when I really had nowhere else to turn. I was terrified, I was lonely, and I was confused. I honestly didn't really know what was going on, and I never ever want anyone else to go through that. This entire situation has broken me. I just wanted to do something good and to give back to a community that helped me. But unfortunately, that's not the case, as much as I would like to continue to.
That it's so hard to listen to. Like it's absolutely heartbreaking, especially, you know, like there would be people out there that would see this as, or maybe there are, that would see this as her like being exaggerating, you know, or kind of being like, trying to put a little bit more emotion into it so that she can garner more support on her side, just in case, you know, whatever. I don't think that any of that is true. She sounds so vulnerable, and she sounds like she's so being very authentic. Plus, in my, like, the little bit of VTubing that I have done with my little VTuber guy, if you look at what's happening with her face, she's moving and bending, and like, for example, like if she's starting to tear up, what you'd see is her VTuber do this, and her eyes would wiggle, and because she's reaching maybe for like a Kleenex or something like that, or she does this, right? That causes the wiggle in the VTuber, or it causes, you know, something to happen. And you've seen that a few times, especially when you start to see her emotions kind of get up a bit, because my guess is that she's losing tracking because of what her body and what her eyes are doing. And it's I don't know, to me it lends more credence to the fact that she's being very authentic here. Hey, Shadow.
Talk about this. Unfortunately, I can't. So, to recap, I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. And most importantly, the Immune Deficiency Foundation is owed over $500,000 from Bishoujo. I really wish that I could tell you more, but right now, I have been advised to wait for legal proceedings.
That's
As of
smart,
right now,
Iron Mouse.
I am an independent VTuber. I am at a loss of what to do right now. I'm kind of processing everything. I'm very sad and very confused. Once again, I want to apologize to the Immune Deficiency Foundation and to my community who has shown so much support to me. I also wanted to say that all the ad money made from this video will
She's
go
supposedly not
towards
doing
the
a
Immune
voice.
Deficiency Foundation. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do. Like I said, I really haven't had much time.
It'd be really hard to do a video knowing you have to tell people, because it's all over the news. Like, it's all over the news. You have to say something, but you're not allowed to say much. It's still very raw, so like you'd rather not. You'd rather just kind of like just deal with this behind the scenes. Let's just, you know, whatever. But you can't, right? And so it'd be really hard to make this video. It's tough, especially because she's gonna feel bad, because she does hold a bit of culpability in the fact that she connected to V Shoujo, right? That was her idea, and as much as she went in with, you know, with the best intentions, right? It's still the company she was working with, you know, closely screwed over a charity, right? She still has a little bit, like, obviously they're the ones at fault, but she's gonna feel like if she would have made a better decision or a different decision, or been paying attention more, or had more lawyers, or had changed to her own, you know, financial thing before that she was thinking about but had put off for a while, you know, she's going to be feeling a lot of, you know, obviously a lot of guilt. I think a lot of it is going to be misplaced, but at the same time, I'm glad that she thinks, you know, I wish this would have been better. And later, I would like to believe that she's helping a lot of people who are getting into this, or getting into streaming or VTubing or part of any of this stuff to be able to make better decisions, right? To be able to kind of go, be careful who you connect to, watch the paperwork, which you should anyway with anything. But some of these guys, it's really, really hard because if you want to be a streamer and you want to be a VTuber and it's starting to take off and you really enjoy it and you're pouring a ton of effort into it and the company comes up and says, we affirm you, we think you're great and we want to sign you up and make money for you and be able to give you a professional setup and it's going to be awesome and it's going to be great and we're going to promote the snot out of you and boy, it's going to be wonderful. It's hard not to just go, yeah. Sounds great. Let's do it. You know, like it's just like, yes, absolutely. 10 out of 10. Where do I sign? But it's really, 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 really important to kind of push pause and step back as you know, as Christians, especially to pray about, you know, is this what God wants? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Are these the people I'm supposed to be partnering with? What are the motivations? Like, what's the deal there? And it's just super critical. Yeah. It not only, well, the company's dead now. Jim, that company died. It's over. People watch this, and then everybody left. Shoujo empty. No more clients. They are dead now. Too small for it to matter until I don't make enough for it to matter. Yeah, until they get big and it matters. Even if they don't get big, if they are trying to be professional or if they're trying to be, you know, do it full time, it could be the difference between enjoying it, not enjoying it, actually be able to do it full time or not, because they're taking X percentage. Like they're a lot of people out there are trying to take advantage of talented people. I always think of the dance company that you know, our neighbors were part of a dance company, and they went and they took dance lessons, which they paid for. And then they did a dance recital, which their parents paid a ticket to go watch their own kids. And then the dance people were like, we're going to go down to Disney and we're going to dance in the Disney thing. So everybody had to pay to get down to Disney. So everybody had to pay to be part of that thing, because in their mind, you know, the whole thing is, what if my kid gets discovered? What if this is the big break? Well, I'd be crazy not to do this. So there are thousands of dollars in, while this organization who is teaching their kids how to dance soaks up all these hopes and dreams as finances. It's very exploitative. And it felt, you know, as I was hearing the story, I'm like, man, that sounds really, really, really not awesome. Like the chances of you being discovered and being, you know, given a thing on Disney because you're so great at dancing or whatever is very, very slim. And if that's what they're feeding you and they are taking thousands of dollars or they're taking money from you and making you pay a bunch of things, and you got to pay for your costume and you got to pay for the, you know, the whole 9 yards. It's exploiting people's hopes and dreams. It really is. And artists are especially sensitive to that or susceptible to that, I think, because they're so desperate to want to live off the art or live off the creativity or live off to do that thing full time, because they love it so much. And they can be, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. In 48 hours, she left the company. Yeah, it's gone. They were just gone.
Time to process this. But below the video in the description box is a link to a donation fund for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Thankfully, any donations made through Tiltify go directly to the charity. That link is also there if you've heard about this and would like to support the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Sometime this month, I plan on doing a special live stream in order to raise money for the Immune Deficiency Foundation. I hope to have a ton of friends joining me, and hopefully there'll be a lot of singing and a lot of fun and just a day full of happiness. I just honestly really want to show that after all of this, that VTubing is a force for good. So thank you guys so much for all.
That would have been really hard to do, and I think it would be immensely stupid of VShojo or anybody at VShojo to try to squeeze her at this point, right? Can you imagine? I can. Them going, hey, you know, now that she said something, Let's pick that apart and see if we can sue her for this or sue her for that, so we can recoup some of this money, because they're probably up to their eyeballs in debt now because they've made promises that they can't pay for. Like it's dangerous to do something like this. It really is. It's not a small thing. Golly. Her community responded to this, by the way. Last I heard, they blew past the goal of covering the mission missing by a factor of 3 or 4. Really? All right. Well, I imagine that Tiltify says what the number is. Whoop! Calm down. Yeah, it's only $1.3 million of the 500,000 missing. I don't know what those red lines are. It must be the goals. Is it the goals? That's crazy, man. Good for her. Good for her. It's nice. It's nice to hear, especially of a young person who gets shot. I mean, I'm still a young person. I'm old. Everybody's a young person to me. So therefore, yeah, it's a bummer it happened. I'm glad that they got their butts handed to them, V Shoujo. And hopefully, I'm sure she'll bounce. And hopefully, here's my prediction. She'll feel a sense of responsibility for the VTubers that lost their jobs, lost their connection, and she will be approached by someone to start the Iron Mouse VTuber company, and they will try to convince her that it's a way that she can protect the stuff and make sure it's done right, and so she'll start her own, or she'll partner with another VTuber, big VTuber creator, to create her own VTuber agency. That's my guess. If that hasn't happened yet, I'd be very surprised. If they're and it might take a couple months for her to get through that emotionally, because it sounds like she's got some stuff she's got to deal with. But yeah, good for her, and bad for her, and both of those. But bummer, right? Yeah.
It's a huge week of new.
Excuse me, we're not talking to you right now. Where are you? Where'd that come from? You. Stop it.
Releases, including
Stop it. I'm trying to push play on Spotify. There we go. I'm 41. Yes. Yes, Jim. By a lot. I'm going to be allowed to say that she was Iron Mouse, but that's a really unique voice. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It'll, yeah, crazy, man. Side effect, though, is the failure of one VTuber makes it harder for the next one to get industry funding. I don't know. I think she's got a lot of good, goodwill in the community. Yeah, in your mind, in Warrior's mind, he's much younger. But no, I'm old. I feel old. I look old, and I am old. So there, deal with it. All right. So that was V Shoujo. Golly, that whole thing is dumb. But that's it. I think that's more than enough news for today. If you do sign up, I'm going to put this link in there again, because y'all should sign. If you are a content creator, go sign up for this. It's a great little resource to tell you new stuff. There's even jobs, right? Here's some games that you can get and keys, or here's some things that are happening, free games. Here's some jobs you could get within the creator community. It's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. So I highly recommend it. All right, so that's the news. Did I need anything else? What I was going to do next, what you heard, was this. I thought that might be fun for us to go through top 10. No, not top 10. One of the 20 the best new indie game releases you guys might be able to find that are kind of interesting. Still operating under the name with that avatar. Likely that VShoto didn't have the same policy. No, they didn't, and that was they were able to keep their IP, which is good for them. Because boy, if that would have been way worse if they were all tied in. Yeah, good for them for letting that happen. Bummer for them for being tools. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Why don't we come back? We're gonna watch this, and then we're gonna call it done. I was gonna spend time doing the taco team or the taco tranquility room section, but I've got that mostly done myself. I was just going to show it off. I can show it off once it's done. How about that? And then you guys can see later. We'll come back, we'll watch this, and we'll call that the rest of the stream. And that's because it's Taco Tuesday and gaming and stuff, right? Done the game on mobile, helps dogs and cats in shelters get food and such. Oh, far out. That's neat. It's cool that they can connect things like that. Okay. Exclamation point web. Please go check out my new website. Lots of really cool stuff on there. I'm going to be putting some articles on soon. So sign up, subscribe, exclamation point, how bonkers, exclamation point, do a thing too. And exclamation point, tell a friend. One of the best things you can do, if you are enjoying what I'm doing here and it's been meaningful to you, it would be really helpful if you would tell a friend, tell your church, tell your small group, tell fellow creators what we're doing. It would just be really, 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 really helpful. Word of mouth is super powerful, and a lot of people don't know what I do or when I do it because they're doing their own thing. So yeah, please do. I will be. Yeah, exactly. It keeps their own IP. I'll be back soon. Just gonna use the bathroom, grab some water, and then I'll be back. See you soon. Hello. Welcome back. I'm welcoming myself back, actually. That's good. So for the rest of the stream, what we're going to do is we're going to check out this video. I thought it'd be kind of fun. If you want to sign up here, I'm going to give you this link because I think it's going to be really good for a lot of you guys. If you're looking for games, this is a little known guy. He's not he's not huge. He's only got 184,000 subscribers. But he goes through like a ton of indie games, and so therefore there's some really fun ones in here. Let's just watch it together, and we'll call that the end of stream. And then yeah, that's that. How about that? All right, let's push play. Thank you for following along. I appreciate it. Let's see what she's got here. This is if you don't know, there are a few different indie games that there are a ton of different indie games that come out every week. Like just so many, whether it be itch.io or on Steam or be anywhere else. And a lot of them are free. A lot of them have demos. If you're going to be doing, if you're looking for some stuff to play, like for example, you're going to see one in here that is, those really fun kind of multiplayer ones that are a bit scary and 4 people running around doing stuff, and then there's like a monster or whatever. There's like one in here that you've probably never heard of that could go viral. So if you want to get on the get on early, this might be the way to go. No one got my dark side joke. Aw, I will look it up. Red is my favorite color, so yes, I have cookies in case anybody's wondering. Oh, because of the dark side has cookies. I got it. Okay, ready?
It's a huge week of new releases, including stealth games, a colony sim, roguelites, tactics titles, and some very promising action platformers. So let's begin with Mecha Rushi, a turn-based tactical mecha RPG inspired by the classic Front Mission games built around unit customization, targeting and destroying parts on enemies, as well as classic turn-based tactics on a grid. You command a squad of mechs whose components such as torso, arms, legs, and weapons each have
this is definitely not for me.
Points, and destroying specific parts disables enemy mobility or firepower, rewarding precise targeting. The way the camera moves in this game is impressive.
I'm gonna slide through them. We're not gonna spend all the whole time on them. This sounds really interesting though.
That has you playing as a fly, racing against time, and wants you to think about our limited time on this planet. Life is short and your bucket list is long, so fly around and start checking things off the list, from learning to play an instrument, get rich, get drunk, not necessarily in that order, or just live and exist. With this coming to us from the developer of Kids and Plug and Play, similar experimental titles which are also worth a play. This video's
that's kind of interesting, right? To actually be a little fly that's kind of doing stuff to explore the world and what life is like after that. Sorry, not to skip the sponsor, but this is a cake simulator. Well, whatever. Okay, fine. Here. I don't know why I skipped it.
Inspired coffee shop where your patrons are felines with
I don't think anybody wants to play this one now.
Who place coffee orders?
Anybody interested in this?
Trigger short mini games. You brew
yeah, it was cute and small.
By mastering drink-specific mini games, selecting cups, pouring milk, pushing.
Not my jam. Not my jam.
If you have any love for indie games or the classics, one look at Spy drops and you will immediately know what they are going for, being a throwback to the original Metal Gear Solid with impressive low-poly 3D art and the stealth action focus.
The fly one, yeah.
Save the world from a terrorist threat as a secret spy agent type, but this time it will have randomized levels for replayability.
I think it's so interesting that they're bringing out these new games. Starbucks Valley. Yeah. That's really good. I like that. That's funny. Starbucks Valley. It's fun. They can make these new games and they're using Unreal. Like they're going to be, these engines they're using are going to be capable of a billion really awesome things. But they're like, I want it to look like PlayStation 2 because let's go retro. I'm not much of a Metal Gear Solid guy.
Options, as well as a number of systems like hacking to
Turn it
change
down a bit.
things up. You drop into these facilities and are tasked with infiltrating hostile bases, selecting from a range.
And plus you're an
of
anime
gear,
girl, so what are you gonna do?
Night vision goggles, picking tools, silent weapons, or non-lethal takedown items.
Probably made by like one guy.
Strategic options go
That's the
in.
cool part about a lot of
Once
these.
deployed, avoid cameras, creep around, give it a mention. Heartworm is a highly anticipated retro-style survival horror game where you
I hate
pass
horror
through
games.
the threshold and enter a world born of your memories, but twisted horribly.
Yeah,
as you
it's
seek
true.
to make
You build a lot of
contact
cool
with the
stuff.
other
It-
side to speak to your grandfather, whose death you cannot
Not with good
get
graphics,
over.
though.
This is very classic survival horror, resembling Elisa in spots, down to the visual style, having tank controls and fixed camera angles, but with the option for modern controls as well
I don't
as
like it.
third person over-the-shoulder aiming as well. This surreal nightmare world shifts
Nope,
and
no
moves,
horror.
resembling a liminal space filled with locked doors.
I mean, cool for them,
breaking
and people freaking love it, but
encounters
I
with some
hate
spirits
horror games.
Love indie games? Sign up to my newsletter to get a weekly dose of what's hot, along with some news and of course, weekly game giveaways, so if interested, link is in the description below. One of the most fascinating entries of the week is Gold Adventure Gold.
This looks neat.
An oddly named title from an oddly named developer called Can-A-Man, and is a colony sim reverse RPG in which gold makes god. You are the divine steward of a growing settlement, commanding adventurers
Yeah, me neither.
to gather resources, fight monsters, and build amenities to fuel your godly ambitions. But you do not have direct control of them, instead having to tempt them with gold as a reward, and thus resemble the Majesty games.
It's always
Build
weird when you get the
structures ranging from
cute
farms,
animation
taverns to guild
mixed with the
halls,
gross,
and send
like
out
bloody stuff.
adventurers on quests such as monster slaying to exploration or town defense.
Yeah,
Being
interesting.
able to
2D on the
shape
3D?
your settlement depending on the types of adventurers you attract. The heroes operate semi-autonomously, forming parties, funding new buildings,
Yeah,
or
right?
taking on
It's like
new
Pokemon.
quests. But as a wise man once said, show me the incentives and I'll show you the outcome, meaning that you need to motivate them accordingly. There is a pet god beast which you can raise, so perhaps some black and white DNA as well, with
Yep.
it having some good hand-drawn art which is surprisingly gory and should be an interesting release. Other games begin with another farm roguelike Rebirth, a roguelite strategy.
So yeah,
title
another
in which
yet
you are
another
managing your own farm, having thicker elements as you click to
Stardew
grow or
Valley,
harvest
but, like,
resources, which you then have
ugh.
to sell to make rent. Otherwise,
Look at all that. It just overwhelms me. That's too much math, man. I can't even. Like, look at this shenanigans
while
here.
The pixel art looks
Like,
absolutely
just
adorable.
that.
The
That's
strategy
crazy.
does look
No
kind of
thanks.
intense in that below a side-scrolling action. A more
This one looks
traditional
rad.
action roguelite is Atomic Owl, a side-scrolling action platformer
That
with
pretty?
a cool neon-infused art style in which you
Purple,
play as an
Japanese.
owl, the last free blade wing, on a quest to defeat a twisted troll sorcerer and to save your corrupted friends, which I take to mean that they will be the bosses in this game. Everything is avian.
Right, yeah, I wouldn't be good at it
Some
either.
bird puns, such as the game having foul ninja action, looking like a classic roguelite platformer with jumping, platforming, as well as dash/slash action using your weapons to dispatch enemies. These include whip, hammer, blade, and more.
Very pretty.
Along with a ranged scythe weapon, plus a variety of in-run upgrades. Co-op kaiju horror cooking.
That's what
is
I'm
the
talking about.
latest co-op
Co-op.
horror title, following in the footsteps of
Have a good one,
Lethal
Hannah.
Company, in which up to 4 players play as medieval monks facing down colossal, picky kaiju.
So,
have
if
to
you like
defeat
Lethal Company,
said
if that works for
kaiju
you, this could be the
and
next one.
choose
Who knows?
perilous reality-warping labyrinth to gather ingredients, fight other monsters, and turn them into food if need be. Chop ingredients, add salt, cook them, burn them, and then fire it into the kaiju's mouth using a catapult, with the game eerily warning you not to stay in the larder and not to get caught. This comes to us from Strange Scaffold, one of the most prolific and weirdest indie developers around.
Isn't that
making
weird?
their first multiplayer title, and
That's
given
just
how
weird enough,
games
man.
like this can go, might be one to watch. The developer of Contract Rush DX did reach out and I wanted to help them along, where if the opening seconds of this trailer feels familiar, that is because this developer is familiar with Flash and worked on Friday Night Funkin' and Undertale Yellow, with this game starting off as a Newgrounds demo but grew into something much larger. It's a hand-drawn 2D run-and-gun action platformer, but mixed in with other elements designed around fast-paced exploration,
It's
character
cute. I don't
variety,
know.
and upgrade-driven combat. You select one of multiple playable characters.
I love the
each of
creative
which
stuff,
are
but it's
unique
just I don't
and
think
differ
I
in
could.
movement and firing
It's just so
style,
silly.
and run
Probably
through
fun to play though.
large themed levels called
I'd
contracts
watch someone
that
play
end
it.
in a boss fight. Along the way, you collect temporary power-ups such as increased
Yeah.
fire rate, spread
Hmm,
shots,
rip
or
flash,
fast
right?
movement
Yeah.
speed, which stacked to affect your build for the level. There are subcontract objectives like time trials or gauntlet-style runs with a 3-star scoring system, but come on, the art and animations in this looks awesome, so of course I'm interested. Developer Spurgeon Studios is an interesting one, having made the Metroidvania Tales
Oh,
of Kenzara
here's one for Samus.
with their take being a very different kind of game, and is a first-person psychological horror title with FMV telling a tale as you explore an eerie, luxurious Hollywood mansion. You play as an actor searching for your missing friend, navigating through the house and discovering corrupted video footage files, haunted rooms, and cryptic physical clues. Locate and
See, Samus likes wandering around a building while figuring out clues and putting things together. I don't know if you want to do it in horror, are you kids? But she said that, like, Samus said she likes the scary stuff sometimes. So this could be one for her channel. I don't know.
go through these to uncover the mystery and to
Kinda
find
cool
out
they use
what
live
happened
actors.
to your friend, with the atmosphere and dread from first-person exploration being excellently done while still having that modern-day setting. There's a who's who of actors in this game, which should be due to relationships that actor and studio founder Abu Bakar Salim of House of the Dragon fame has, with it being picked up by Pocket Pair Publishing as well, rolling the success of Pal World into supporting other games.
It's always neat when you
for horror game fans.
get a little bit of live
Another
in your
co-op horror
game.
title is Delivery Pals, this time with a sci-fi alien theme where up to 8 players work together to operate a mobile train base, using it to explore toxic wastelands to deliver cooked meals to demanding alien customers. Each run starts at your train, outfitted
Pizza
with
delivery.
customizable kitchen stations,
Post-apocalyptic
other tracking monitors,
pizza
storage
delivery.
units, and crafting tools, all of which can be upgraded between missions. Your crew splits duties between
What's the name of that
scavenging,
game that has that
cooking,
kind of
and
art style?
vending, gathering ingredients, prepping orders, delivering
Starts
your
with a
food,
T, I
while
think.
keeping an eye out for horrible monsters. The world outside the train is filled with hazards, not just the aliens, but also collapsing ground, poisonous fog, and more, being, coincidentally, the second co-op horror game with cooking this week, so let's see how this does.
Co-op
I played
cooking.
a bunch of shoot 'em ups when I was younger, both in arcades and on
Aw,
the Genesis, so if you
that's
love
my
the
jam.
genre like me, Eartheon might be of note, a retro-style side-scrolling shoot 'em up
Ah,
built
maybe that.
natively for 16-bit
Cool looking, though.
hardware, but is also available on modern platforms, where you pilot a space fighter through 8
That'd be hard.
handcrafted stages
that-
filled with bosses.
that's 100% gonna be
mobs, and
hard.
Environmental hazards. Fight alien in
I don't like it
I'm
when they're
not
hard.
really
I don't want
a
to feel
vehicle
smart.
combat guy, since Twisted Metal was never really my thing, which is why I have Fumes here, one that seems to have a decent amount of hype behind it, and is a roguelite set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. Build and weaponize cars to battle enemies and bosses across procedurally generated desert environments.
I like
slapping on
fighting
machine guns,
with
saw blades, flamethrowers,
cars.
rocket launchers, and more, and then driving and firing at the same time. Each
Woo.
battle rewards scrap and upgrades, which you haul back to base to restore and refit your vehicle.
That's
before
kinda fun,
the next
actually.
event, where a mastery of the driving physics will be essential to your success. The chunky, low-poly visuals look good as well, with what looks like boss fights against gigantic mechanical monsters looking quite epic. And
Yeah,
should be
Fly one's
fun.
pretty cool
Speaking of
looking.
roguelites, Hell Galaxy is a space horror title that mixes
Why is every other
starfighter
game
control,
horror?
ship customization, resource management.
I'd like
and
to lodge a
emergent
complaint with the
exploration
management of video
across
games, please.
haunted star systems. You pilot a ship inhabited by a condemned consciousness, being able to fly it X-Wing style and to use weapons, shields, and other loadouts.
I used to love playing X-Wing, man. One of the few games I actually played as a kid.
You can do a barrel
X-Wing
roll
and
all that, dodging enemy fires, drones, and even specters. You will be able
what was the
to
other one?
mine
The one you
asteroids
got to play as
for
a
resources used in upgrades, along
for the
with what
Empire.
seems to be permanent
TIE
star
fighter.
bases
Yeah.
that serve as your home base. Most interestingly, it is not just enemy ships, but also mind-eating entities and gigantic cosmic titans. There are a number of games with ink in the title on Steam, so don't get confused with Inkborn being a Slay the Spire style roguelike
Yeah,
deck
lot of
builder
hours.
with a cool papercraft look.
You guys do
Giving
deck
it
builders?
off-chain
I've never played a deck
marked
builder.
cards into
I tend to
potent
avoid them because they're so
combos.
complicated.
Each run at your town hub, where a
But
skill tree
people like
and
'em.
card upgrades lets you determine your starting strategy. Each expedition into the folded forest or origami ruins requires playing cards in the right sequence to trigger elemental or synergy
Wing Commander,
effects
yeah.
with powerful one-off idea items.
Because this doesn't appeal to me at all.
Or
It's just
combo chains mid-battle,
math.
which can rapidly
all math.
change the tide of battle. Again, nothing too crazy here in terms of uniqueness, but it looks nice, interestingly coming to us only based off an offhanded remark by a local politician. Love in Tiny Spaces is a cheeky title from Singaporean developer Battle Brew Productions, a stealth game where you have to navigate maze-like apartment corridors at night to meet your girlfriend while avoiding detection by nosy neighbors and her parents, with a dose of humor as well. Someone tell me if there's an asset pack of this pixel art style going around.
Sneak
or
into your
something,
girlfriend room
but
simulator.
I have seen quite a number of games that look like this.
That's a cool
Not that
looking
I'm
game.
complaining, since luck and
I don't know what it
looks
is.
pretty good, being a dice building roguelite with
Oh, so there. Ever since Balatro got huge, right? Since it went super viral, now you have all these like games that are trying to catch on to that, right? And a lot of them are dice based because cards would be too obvious, right? Deck building, exactly. Too many brain cells, too many math, too many, there's always like do this with that. And then you go look online at what other people are doing and you find out that you've been doing it completely wrong the whole time. And especially if it's not programmed well, like if it's not designed well, like it's like, this is the way to play. If you don't put this all together, you can't win, as opposed to being able to be creative about it. That's one of the problems I have with like, a lot of PvP shooters and whatnot, is that like there's only one gun. Everybody uses the same gun. Same the new Mario Kart. They've already figured out the meta for the new Mario Kart. If you go online, apparently it's the Princess Peach car with a squid or something like that, and or the squid car, vice versa, because it's it's got secret things, secret systems built into it, so everybody plays it. Now there's one car that everybody plays. And it makes it less fun. It's more fun if you could like play your own thing. But if everybody has already found the fastest thing to do, and everybody uses the same deck, and everybody uses the same system, it's not really that fun anymore. Figuring it out yourself is kind of half the fun. It's one of the reasons I like Minecraft. And I know it's not even close to the same animal, but I like Minecraft because I can do whatever I want. And I've actually found I got to be careful because I'll get into a game like, say, Cyberpunk or like Scarlet Nexus or Horizon Zero Dawn or something like that has a linear path. And I'd be like, I want to do whatever I want, like... But that's not how the game works. You're meant to play the story. And I'm like, but I like sandbox, and this, if you're too locked in, all of a sudden the sandbox is no fun. Or all of a sudden the game is no fun, I think anyway, or less fun. Hey, Hannah.
In a classic fantasy world, you battle corrupted foes in dungeons, choosing from one of
those dice. Yeah.
A cool-looking first-person exploration walking sim is Nidana, a so-called dream walking title set
Weird.
within a surreal monochrome geometric megastructure where you're exploring a fragment of someone's dream without any text or guided narrative. Walk through ever-shifting abstract spaces.
That sounds kind of rad.
Spatial memory to navigate and to unlock new corridors. The environment morphs around you and the rooms can tilt or loop with the non-Euclidean layouts, forcing you to think beyond.
You used to preach at my church. I miss you, Home Slice. What's up, Lucky? Did I really? Which I wonder which church that was. I've been to a few, but thank you for coming by. Very cool of you. Hello. I wonder who you are. Don't tell me, because that's not allowed. But thank you for saying so. Cool to meet you. Yeah, this looks wild, man. This looks wild.
How normal rooms work. There's no inventory system, combat, or puzzles in the traditional sense, relying entirely on walking, kind of reminding
I'm
me
an enigma,
of a
Samus.
beautiful garden, but with an
Even I don't know
more
what I want.
minimalist presentation and
Isn't that
just
cool
looks
looking?
cool.
Wow,
Another
neat.
visually sick-looking title is One-Eyed Liko, a first-person psychological horror game deeply
Yeah,
rooted
psychological
in
horror
Slavic
game.
folklore,
Ugh.
exploring a creepy forest in search of the mythical creature Liko. This is
I don't. Okay, so yeah, Samus points out a good point because I like hallways because I don't like getting lost. Okay, so let me clarify so that it makes sense. In games that have a required plot, I like having the hallway because if I get lost, I can't find my way back to the plot. And I end up wandering around not knowing what to do with myself. So the hallway is helpful. However, getting stuck into a plot when you're used to sandbox games that you can do whatever you want, I have to completely shift my brain. You know what I mean? One-eyed Liko. Yeah, that's right. I don't know why everything's got to be scary these days, man. I hate that. So sandbox games sometimes present more options and decisions than I care to make. Again, Minecraft is unique. But yeah, if you got too much freedom, sometimes that can be overwhelming as well. I never played Antichamber, but I've seen vids of it. The last game reminded me kind of. Samus played one. Yeah, Samus, which was the one you played a while back that looked kind of like that, where the perspective, like you had to change perspectives or whatever, and then gravity changed, and you had to go certain places. There was a game like that Samus played a while back that was similar. I'm so sick of the horror, man. There's so many things that are scary. Stop being scary. I don't like scary games. I'm sure others do, but not me, man.
Hot Commander is a cooperative tactical squad shooter where you command a team of up to 5 operators or 5
it's
players in co-op.
liminal, very liminal.
Based scenarios, all rooted in precise
Meh.
planning, gear management, real-time
Y'all
tactical
into SWAT stuff? I don't
Despite
know.
everything, I do still love the simple 2D platformer, which is why The Warrior is of interest, a dynamic 2D platformer in which you assume the control of a rotating roster of legendary warrior archetypes, from nimble assassins to
That looks fun.
lords, with each changing
Knock on the mold.
protagonist controlling differently, wielding different weapons, facing different foes,
Also
and
look
telling
kinda
a
hard.
different story. Combat mixes melee and ranged options, with characters that can swing giant swords.
No, I just think some people like scary games. Like they like it's like people who like going on roller coasters. I love roller coasters because I love, there's just fun and, excitement and adrenaline and very cool. But other people you couldn't make them go on a roller coaster. You couldn't pay them to get on a roller coaster. Right. For me, it's the same thing with horror. I don't like the feeling of the uncertainty and the hackles up and waiting for something bad to happen. I don't care about like the gore. Whatever. That doesn't bother me. It's all fake. What I don't like is just being scared. I just don't like that. It just makes me feel bad. And then I don't mind blood and guts. I really don't. But I do not like, I don't like being scared.
To ones that can fly
That's
or
looks neat.
glide, where I particularly love the minimalist pixel art.
Very
is the
minimalist.
hidden gem of the week. Like the co-op horror title, another genre which is seeing a bunch of new entries is the idle game, most commonly in the form of the bottom-of-screen variant, with
What?
tiny terraces joining the fray in being a cozy idle farming sim. You have worker units named fellas, which will do the farming for you as they mill about planting and
So you
harvesting
can do
crops
other stuff
with
while it plays
sound effects
itself.
that sound suspiciously like Stardew Valley, which I suppose is the point.
Yeah, well, it certainly puts things in your brain.
Crops can be sold to get more resources to buy new crops and so on, with various upgrades to improve efficiency, where again, I have...
Does anybody here play a game that is off to the side? Like that actually has... where you're doing something else and then the game is playing off to the side? Or like along the bottom? Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't like putting that stuff in my head, whatever. But yeah, it's I don't know, it's kind of odd. The games that kind of play themselves on the side. I've never really played one before. But I imagine some people like that. Like they play farm sims and they play things that you just kind of watch. So if you're doing that while working, I can see that being a thing. Yeah, like an idle game, I guess. Yeah, but like one that like lives on your screen. That was my. I have a very old amplifier that every now and again just gets really upset, and then you have to turn it off for a while. that's what that was. Yeah, idle game. Yeah. I mean, I can see people enjoying it.
Soft spot for the pixel art, so this is of no.
The little goofy jelly guys are funny.
This before, since Village Tale is a pixel art bottom of screen idle game that has you managing and growing
See, that's
your
wild.
own village. Start
Like that's kind of neat, right? Like, so there's your background, and then it just kind of lives on the bottom. I think it takes up a lot of real estate, but kind of cool. I think on stream, be kind of interesting to have it going across if you could make it interactive and people could do stuff and like it would like pop up with like your little guys, like whoever's watching would be in there. And like, it's one thing to have the little Pokemon running around. Like, I think that's kind of cute, but this would be kind of neat if the whole bottom of your screen, like where the purple is down on my screen, would be like a little living city. Kind of weird. I have a demo called Berserk Bits that does something similar to this, like lives on your screen like this. Interesting.
with building basic structures like homes, farms, and workshops, then
It's too big, though.
to resource gathering, crafting, or production duties. The tiny workers look adorable.
They are
and
adorable.
automatically
That is cute.
Go about chopping trees, farming, or fishing, eventually being able to establish trade routes and to bring in technology and automation to increase production while still having to keep.
I guess you didn't have. Yeah, you put on a different monitor.
Are not only cosmetic but do also increase happiness, allowing you to create.
Yeah, probably
a
make it
cozy
smaller.
little escape away from work or other stuff you do on your PC. Where we
I mean, I have an ultra wide, right? Like, so it could technically live on the side, and then I'd have a normal monitor left over. But because it's an ultra wide, if it took off a third of the screen, that would be very annoying. I see that my brain goes, I can make a wallpaper to match the game and increase immersion. I don't like it taking up a third. It'll take up all of it. Yeah, I can hear that. Way back when I got my guy had a living on screen. I had a guy living on my screen. I cannot remember what it's called. Oh yeah. There's like it was like back. Remember the paperclip back with Microsoft Word?
really must be hitting a saturation point with games like these, right?
I've never.
This next title is the student project from IsArt Digital Montreal,
Clippy.
where
Yeah.
Wires and Whiskers is a cooperative action puzzle platformer for 2 players with the main gimmick of magnetism as well as 2-player co-op.
Aw, that's neat.
Set in a
Little Nightmares, but with a mouse.
world. One player controls a lab-engineered gerbil capable of agile melee dashes,
Sure.
wall jumps, and environmental traversal, while the other controls its magnetic exosuit capable of ranged attacks. as
That's
well
a
as the
sentence,
ability
right?
To solve
One controls a gerbil that is a science lab. One controls the exosuit. That's video games. Let's go. Video games for the win.
polarity-based puzzles. Together, you overcome obstacles and mutated enemies using precise physics-driven mechanics, looking quite polished and impressive. So
It
if
is very
this
cool
is the
looking.
future of game development, then it sure does look bright and will be a free release, so definitely give this a go. This one's for indie game developers. The free indie game marketing resources are ready, so sign up via the link in the description below to get it in your mailbox. Star Vortex is an ambitious space action RPG blending ship customization.
No.
Prospector is a sci-fi sandbox crafting game where you play as a lone prospector, landing
They sure have
on
a lot of
barren
these
alien
games.
planet to harvest resources, automate a growing
Harvest a
base,
resource, make a
and
thing. Harvest a resource, make a thing. Make it bigger, make it faster, make it do a thing.
Begin with basic
Like,
tools, manually
that-
mining local
Is that 'cause
resource nodes,
Stardew?
and building rudimentary supply lines that ensure you have breathable air for exploration. As you expand,
I can see
you
people liking
construct
it. It's just not my
such as
jam.
Mining drills, refining units, and storage hubs. Should
Maybe it is.
Dinosaur Metroidvania.
Last night, speaking of video games, last night I sat there and I actually asked AI, I said, can we talk for a second? I want you to help me with sort of a thing I'm having a problem with. And I said, every time I sit down to play a video game, I can't. I sit there, I load a game, I close the game, I load a game, I close the game, I try a game for 5 minutes and I hit Alt F4 out of it. And then I go install a different game, I uninstall one that I'm never going to play. And then I do nothing. And, then I end up looking at wallpaper or something. And then I leave. And I wanted to play a game. Part of me wanted to play a game, right? And yet I couldn't. What's the deal? And so I started talking about sort of, what's happening, and it's asking me questions or whatever. And it basically came down to the fact that it's the decision is too much for me right now. I've got too many things in my life that are like require responsibility, or that are out of control, or that I'm tired about, or that I can't make myself do, et cetera, et cetera. And so therefore sitting down to play should make me feel guilty because I haven't earned the right to play yet. There's still more to do. And then at the same time, I'm also tired. So if I sit down to play because I want to play, expending that energy is not the easiest thing in the world. And then trying to decide, I've already been deciding things all day, or having to do stuff, and I don't want to deal with that. And so there's part of me that really wants to play a game, and then I just can't. And it's so frustrating. Right? I look at these games, I'm like, that'd be kind of fun. But I know for a fact that unless I'm on stream, I will never turn it on. It'll never turn on. It's I don't know. There's something wrong with me.
That's the basic idea of Primal Planet, where you play as a prehistoric human hunter exploring a world filled
and his
with
wife,
dinosaurs, primitive tribes, and also UFOs and aliens. Begin with a simple stone spear and no abilities, crafting basic tools and healing items from plants, bones, and scrap, while
I could be dull.
navigating a large interconnected map of forests,
kind of cool looking though.
Underground
could be fun,
and high cliffs. Each region hides crafting.
As long as it's not super hard,
hostile creatures,
and you have to like no save. That was the worst part about Ori.
For example,
man,
using a torch to burn away.
Ori the Blind Forest was brutal because the saving was just so hard to do, and you lose so much time just running back and forth, and it just took forever. Beautiful game, very cool, but the saving system was no good. So we're starting to make the point of having time to relaxing with the game is the point of the time. I can't make myself. That's the problem. Because if I sat last night, sat down and I'm like, fine, I'll make the conversion. I'll change everything over to the single PC. That other one will retire. Why did I do that last night? I don't know. Well, I was up and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be, but I made it so that I can't stream unless I do this, and I don't want to be here anymore. That was last night. Why did I do that? I don't know. I could have been just playing Destiny or something. No, I did. I set the respawn point, but the thing is, the way that the first one worked is that you had to have a certain amount of the blue stuff before you could save and whatnot. It wasn't immediate and it wasn't easy. They fixed it in the second one though.
Day of the Shell is a turn-based tactical roguelite built around the idea of one click, one turn, where you control just a single character, which speeds up the action. Our hero is traversing flooded islands on a mission to challenge the gods, having to reach the heart of the islands in order to destroy the shell. You have
that might be fun.
revolver as your primary weapon.
Although it's another one of those ones that
enemies with
you have to get it right.
Upgrades presented to you.
There's a certain way to do it.
Well as a meta progression
as opposed to you can do it anyway.
Positioning, firing, or blessing.
And I say that because you're going to get somewhere and it's going to be this is an ice guy. Where's your fire gun? This is a earth type. Where's your water gun? And he's like, oh, I didn't get that because I thought it was dumb. I didn't upgrade it. Oh, I have to go back and I have to upgrade it now because whatever. Oh, you have to hide behind the tree and use the water gun because that's how they decided you to do it. That which is fine fine. You got to play a game. The game has rules. It's not a sandbox. Fine. But at the same time, if you're I want to experiment and do silly stuff, it's hard to do when you're locked in. That's my assumption for this game anyway.
Of course, my most anticipated title of the week comes to us from the developer of Blasphemous, whose games and pixel art were so good that they were entrusted with the Ninja Gaiden IP, making a level-based 2D platformer named Ragebound. There is a 2-character setup where you can swap between them or to use ninja fusion when the time is right, as our hero is left to defend the village from the Demon Lord after Ryu Hayabusa, the protagonist of the original games, leaves for America. Needless to say, the pixel art
so it is Ninja Gaiden,
with it having demoed
neat.
Extremely well.
I was right.
No-brainer pick. watch this video for more action platforms.
That's cool. So I figure we'll do that once every once in a while. You know what? I should change that to not be that. We should do that once in a while. Just kind of take on, you know, doing some. Checking out video games. The whole point behind Taco Tuesday is to talk about creator stuff, things interesting by two creators, help creators get better. And you know what? Part of that is video games. So there you go. Hi, Miss Duck. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Think about devils and demons and God. Cause anime. It's just the way it is over there. And if you're doing anime, it's like the subversion of expectation, where the demons are the good guys and the angels are the bad guys, is no longer subversion of expectation. It is the expectation, because they've done it so many times. What are you gonna do? They're not a Christian culture, and they're trying to use Christian symbolism. And of course they don't, because they don't know it very well, they're gonna get it all backwards and weird. It is what it is. I've just learned, whenever they say the demon king, I always just think the bad guy. Whenever they say that, the demon whatever, I just think, the hero. Like I don't think about it too much. I'm doing okay. Been an interesting day. I've been thoroughly enjoying the fact that we've been able to hang out and talk about some cool stuff. That's kind of fun. But other than that, I'm good. Don't have a Christian culture there. Yeah, they're obsessed with it from a distance. And again, distance enough that they don't really get all of it. In the same way that whenever we do something to do with whatever other kind of culture, we grab the part that we know, the part that we think we know, and we make it out of that. They should subvert right? When then they blow everybody's mind. Duck brain's just loading? Well, you just got up. Go get yourself some breakfast, and you'll feel a lot better. Well, that's that. Should I show you guys what I'm thinking? No, I won't. I'll do that when I'm done. I was going to show you guys what I'm thinking when it comes to the room. We'll see how it goes. My job is to accumulate all the stuff that people want for the rooms that we're going to be doing at the Taco Tranquility Room at Reach, and then sending that off to the people who are offering to maybe pay for some of it, and then to be like, this is what we need, and see what they come up with. If they're like, that's too much, you're dumb, then we have to figure that out. And if they pay for it, great. But we got to get that done early so that we can get it paid for, because it's coming soon. And so that means I need to do it this week, because it's due on Friday. It was due last Friday, actually, and I blew it. But what are you gonna do? Is chat slow? I'm slow. Don't blame chat. Blame me. He's like, wow, evil is actually evil again? Mind blown. Yeah, they wouldn't know what to do themselves. You know what? I'm done. It is now 3:30, which is, that's plenty. There's no point in me starting a game right now, because it wouldn't start and whatever. So why don't we just raid out? We'll go say hey to somebody else. See who's on. Thank you for being here, guys. Again, like I said, best thing you can do for the channel would be to tell people that I exist. Just tell people I went over there, had a good talk. If you're a creator, show up on Tuesday. If you're going through some stuff, showing up on Wednesday. You can do yourself some, get some counseling stuff. If you're interested in Minecraft, show up on Monday. If you just need something to hang out with and be funny, show up on Thursday. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I think it was fun. A little talk show stream. But other than that, yeah. Let's raid over to Life Lessons. You know what? He's cool. Plus he plays, speaking of anime, he's on Wuthering Waves right now. This whole not having two mice thing is pretty slick. Kind of like it. Only having one mouse to deal with. All right, see you guys tomorrow. It'll be Wednesday. We're doing like life stuff. I think we're talking about friendship. I found a bunch of articles and stuff on friendship and why it's hard and what it's from and why it's important and how to make them and things like that. And so I think it'll be interesting for us to kind of talk about friendship. So come back tomorrow. Bring a friend. Yeah. What is friendship? Who even knows? Yeah. That's what we're going to do. All right, dudes. See you tomorrow. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. That's friend. Exactly. I think that actually was one of the examples. Yeah. That was one of the examples was Lord of the Rings. Okay. Bye.